Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Player podcast. This is episode 618. It is October 22nd, 2019. I'm your host this evening, Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons.
What's up?
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Hello.
And we are here, of course, as usual, to talk about video games, which we're going to get to here in a second. I want to mention at the top of the show, real quick, on the second half of this episode, after our break, we're going to be doing something very special. We're going to be having a casual deliberation amongst ourselves. We're going to try and nail down, or at least narrow down very closely, the games that we're going to be considering to play for our next Project M, which we're hoping to do in December.
Nick, I have an idea. I'm going to throw it out right now because I'll forget about it, and this will give them a little tease, a little taste of the kinds of awesome ideas I'm going to have later. Here we go. We go to howlongtobeat.com. We each pick our own game that has the same how long to beat hours, and we race separate games that are all the same length. Boom.
Then how can you tell who's winning?
That's the kind of dope ideas you're going to get in the next segment, guys.
But that's not
so stick around.
And people are clicking away right now.
It is. How long to beat. We look at how long to beat, and we match the times across 4 games.
I mean, I'm not totally opposed to that idea. We'll revisit it in the second segment.
All right.
I do. So first of all, thank you guys. We did hit our goal of 100 and 150 patrons.
Yes.
So we are going to be doing our next Project M. If you're interested in supporting us, you can find us at patreon.com/4player. We're currently working towards our next goal of 175 patrons, in which we'll do a themed month where we all stream something within a theme that we haven't yet decided. We've done a lot of years, like 1998 month.
God damn it! The only reason they think it's not going to be a yearly month is because you're calling it a themed month.
It could be anything. I don't want to cave us. I don't want to like back us into a corner. You know what I mean?
But
I want it to be.
I'm the one who threw down the gauntlet and who said, "Hey, we get 15, 25 more patrons or whatever. We're gonna do it." So I mean, I think really what it is we haven't come up with a good name for the yearly months.
You're right.
Well, that's why you're saying themed months. I think we just need to come up with a good name, like Time Travel Month.
Then please come up with
4-player past.
4-player past.
No, it's not.
4-player past cast.
Time Travel Month.
4-player past cast. My God. Anyways,
well, I'm trying to think of something that's kind of, I don't want to rewind or kind of I'm trying to think of something that's it's easy to tell that it's in the past. Like time travel doesn't really make sense.
Because that could be we could do a future month.
Yeah.
This month we're gonna play nothing but games that came out in 2022.
Like 4-player archives or 4-player
old people games.
Yeah.
90s Novembers.
Well, that's a specific month.
That's King Carey's suggestion in chat.
We need something very generic.
You know what? Let's brainstorm that later. But I like what y'all are doing. What y'all are onto here. The point is
maybe something with a time capsule.
Time capsule.
You're something that was in the past.
A time capsule month.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
we'll revisit.
Has anybody been watching or consuming or doing any Halloween-y stuff yet?
I watched it.
Chapter 2?
No, the first one.
Oh.
I'd never seen it.
You've never seen... Oh, wait. Like the remake?
Yeah, the remake. I've seen the original.
You never saw Chapter 1?
No.
Oh, what'd you think?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. I think Chapter 1's better than Chapter 2, but Chapter 2's not bad either.
Chapter 1's better than Chapter 2.
Chapter 1 is better than Chapter 2. Chapter 2's pretty messy. Anyways, to answer your question, Brad, no, not yet. I was thinking about doing a horror stream. I think it would probably have to be sooner rather than later. We are coming up pretty quick on actual Halloween.
I watched a horror movie today.
What'd you watch?
I think it's called Annabelle Comes Home.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Brad, what?
Oh.
Why are you whispering into the microphone?
Because that's what I do now. Have you seen one of my streams?
No, what are you, Joseph?
All right, let's chase down Rajang.
Yeah, that's my streams. Yeah, like Joseph. I need a good Joseph. What's a good Joseph quote? Dicks and butts.
That's exactly what Joseph says every single time. He's like, "Hey guys, it's Joseph. Dicks and butts."
That's his catchphrase. You go into their Discord in Next Gen Pants. He's like dicks and butts.
Is it dicks and butts or dicks and butts? I couldn't.
Depends on the day of the week.
I couldn't.
How many liquors he's had?
I'm sorry. What?
What?
Anyway, there we go. Big fucking dick down your. Wait, that's not what he said.
In your mouth.
He says big fucking dicks in your fucking mouth. That's what he said.
Big fucking dicks. I have podcasts every week, but all I really want to talk about is the Battlefield.
Well, no, it was Planet Side.
No, it was mostly Battlefield.
It was a lot of Battlefield. It was.
But that's cool. Battlefield's a cool game. One of these days I'm going to get to the end of this introduction here. Anyways, I'm reining it back in for a second. We'll return to the Halloween comment in a second. I just want to say, like Brad said, when we hit 175 patrons, we will do a themed month of whatever the hell it will end up being. We'll do something for the month when we hit that goal. So if you're interested in supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/4Player. All right, now we can talk about Halloween stuff.
Halloween stuff. I watched.
Wait, what did you think of Annabelle Comes Home?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty fun.
Wait,
it was pretty fun.
Is that the one where she comes home?
Is that the one where it's like out in the desert and there's like an orphanage or something out there?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not. What? Annabelle Comes Home came out like this year.
Okay, I've seen that one. I've seen the last two actually.
Okay. I think there's. Okay.
It was all right.
Yeah. Well, it was fun.
This is the Killer Doll series, right?
It's not. It's a. She doesn't do the killing necessarily. She just haunts the place and like summons all these spirits and stuff. Yeah, she like the doll itself never moves. It never like stands up and like chases people. It's just like when you let it out of its like encapsulate the thing that they keep it in.
Why did they take it out?
Well, okay.
Stupid people.
Because it's a horror movie.
Stupid people doing stupid things are the reason. Like, but as soon as they open the door, like it lets all these spirits and demons just summons them basically.
Why aren't they just throwing that fucking thing in the garbage and just letting it be?
Okay, first of all, you would be terrible. If throwing it in the garbage would solve the problem, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Why did you not go with why don't they just burn it?
Oh, because they
throw it in the garbage.
That should have been their first instinct.
Why don't they just
stupid people?
Why don't they just recycle it?
They should just throw it in the garbage and leave the house, and then they're away. Movie ends.
It's
It's over.
You take it to Goodwill. Some
Guys,
kid could play with that.
I stand by my.
Yes, let's drop off the haunted doll at the Goodwill.
I stand by my assertion that no matter what the scenario is, if you are in like a horror movie scenario where you are in a house with something evil or whatever,
get the fuck out.
The solution is to just burn the house down.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yes.
It's not.
Well, Nick, the thing that's arson and it's illegal.
So are ghosts, okay?
Find me a law on record that ghosts are illegal.
All right, I don't know where I would start that search, but I have a feeling I'd have best luck looking in Florida.
I bet there's a Texas law.
Hold on, I'll Google it real quick.
It's definitely a Southern law.
Are ghosts
it's definitely a Southern law.
legal?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Texas amendment.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
That was
I just read the first. It says under U.S. federal law, owning a ghost. But then the next, I didn't see because on the next line is gun, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Wait, what's a ghost gun?
I don't know.
Like a Ghostbuster blaster.
You aren't allowed to loiter after death. Any other horror movies out there? Horror games or anything?
I've been watching some.
There's a surprising lack of horror games.
I watched Terminator with Henry. Did I talk about that?
No, but
We talked about that in Discord.
Hold on. So I did find a case. It's Stambovsky versus Ackley from New York, 1991, commonly known as the Ghostbusters ruling, is a case in the New York Supreme Court Appellate Division that held held that a house which the owner had previously advertised to the public as haunted by ghosts legally was haunted for the purpose of an action for rescission. I'm not familiar with that term. Brought by a subsequent purchaser of the house. Because of its unique holding, the case has been frequently printed in textbooks on contracts and property law, and widely taught in U.S. law as school cases and often decided by courts. So there's some ruling, but that's all about the house, not the ghosts themselves.
Yeah, talk to me when you find something about the ghost.
I want to do another.
A ghost gun is a firearm
tour.
without a serial number.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We had some good suggestions for horror movies in our Discord the other day.
I went to like a haunted farm this past weekend, or I guess a Halloween thing.
Gotcha. So sorry.
At like a farm, it was pretty cool. Although, except their haunted trail was just like their trail at night with no lights.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
So it's spooky. It's dark and spooky.
Like Tick City.
There was like 4 actors on that trail, but
actors.
It was it was dark, so we couldn't say anything. I guess that's what made it spooky.
Talk about low budget.
It was
haunted house. It's like, well, we'll just let people into our house at night when it's dark and we don't have any lights on.
They had little houses because it's one of those places where you go on a field trip and they're like, "Oh, I'm churn butter." You know?
Yeah,
like a Pioneer Farms thing.
Yeah, like a Pioneer. Yeah, well, it was at Pioneer Farms.
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, I didn't go there when I was younger because I didn't grow up in Austin. But you probably know what that is.
We've been there.
Their Halloween-y thing is like super low budget, like they don't even try. And they have all these houses that would be super creepy at night, but they don't even you can go into them because there's no security guard that says, "Hey, don't go in there." And they would be creepy if they did anything in them, but they don't. It's just such a wasted opportunity. It could be like really cool.
Behold this house at night with no lights.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. Oh god, I had something I was going to mention that was Halloween related, and I can't recall what it was. Were you the one that recommended me playing the Beast Inside, Brad?
Yeah. You should play
Have you seen anything about that game?
I mean, what do you want? Like
review?
A fucking IGN review is going to make you feel better?
Yes.
No, man. Just there's videos out there.
Like the trailer makes it look cool, but like there's no way that game is not like a mess. There's no.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's like a no-name studio, and like there's no
Blair Witch.
There's like no gameplay to speak of in the trailer. It's just a lot of quick cuts and like creepy imagery, but like no actual like what is it like from moment to moment kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Go watch a review.
If anybody in chat has played The Beast Inside,
there's reviews out there.
Please hit me up in Discord.
There's one review on Metacritic.
No, but go on YouTube. There's YouTubers.
80%.
Oh, that's not bad.
But yeah, I mean,
it is on Steam. With 158 reviews, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like
shit.
From like
maybe I'll play that this weekend for Halloween.
That's probably a good one.
I also know Robin wanted to stream Dead Space 3 because we've done Dead Space 1 and 2 already. So, anyways, shall I open the show with some feedback?
Maybe? Yes, I dare you.
All right, it's been 2 weeks since our last episode.
Also, you should play Devotion. That game got good reviews. Came out very early this year. It's the one that got pulled off of Steam and basically wiped from the face of the planet because of China. Because we talked about this.
Oh, we did. That Taiwan developer. Yeah.
It's illegal. Like someone got arrested for pirating it in China.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's bananas. So real quick, it's been 2 weeks since our last show. Last week we actually got together and we did some character creation with Monster of the Week, which seemed fun. Brad, you weren't here, but I think we were all pretty into it. So like maybe hopefully we can do an actual game here pretty soon, maybe in early November or something on what would normally be a podcast night or something. But it seems like it'll be cool. So stay tuned for that at some point. Keep it. I would say we'll probably let people know on Twitter and Discord and all that stuff. But it's, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since our last regular podcast, so of course I'm going to read some feedback from the last show. If there's anything you would like to say or contribute after tonight's discussions, please leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com for this episode, and we'll read it at the start of the next show. Thorax this week says, regarding Project M, which we'll talk about in the second segment, I would love to see Nick and Chris Davis couch co-op Chaos Theory on the original Xbox.
Sure.
That's not a Project
M. Not a Project M. If not that, then Speedrun RE4 or RE1 Remake. Well, I will say this. I think you're going to see Resident Evil come up as a possibility in the second segment when we talk about Project M. I think we've discussed that a little bit behind the scenes already, so that's definitely something that we'll revisit.
I feel like 4's... Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We will revisit that in the second segment. Also, if you happen to be a Patreon or Twitch supporter and you're in our Discord, you should have access to the Project M room where you can go and you can post your ideas because I'll be combing through those tonight when we're talking about it in the second segment. Alex Quinn says, firstly, I love the Advent Children version of One Winged Angel, and I am very surprised that Nick is not with me based on the metal riffs alone. First of all, did I ever say I wasn't with you? I just don't know if I recall it. Who was talking about One Winged Angel? What are we even talking about?
I don't think we were talking about Advent Children.
We were talking about, like...
I think it was feedback.
Yeah, no, somebody had asked a question, I think, about particular songs in games or whatever, and someone mentioned One Winged Angel. I love One Winged Angel. I just don't recall the metal version of it, because I have only ever seen Advent Children, I think, once, because I didn't really like that movie. Secondly, based on Brad's porn comments, everybody perked up there, I really want a shirt with a Pokemon-style text box that says, "A random foot appears." That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Lastly, I think a fun Project M would be remake versus original. It would take a little research to find the best matchup, but I think if the game is right, it could be fun. I think he's talking about pick two games, an original and a remake, and then now I guess two people race through one, two people race through the other. The thing is, those would have to be so close.
Yeah.
In terms of like 1-to-1 remake, which is very rare these days. Like the closest thing I can think of is Resident Evil 1 versus Resident Evil 1 remake. Maybe, but they even added a bunch of stuff to the remake.
Yeah, Lisa Trevor with the remake.
Yeah, so there would have to be some kind of handicap there. And he closes by saying, love you guys. I will die on the hill that you are the best podcast on the internet.
Oh, thank you.
Nothing makes a bad day better than some 4PP. Aw. What you do impacts us in the community in ways that you can't even imagine. May your spookmen always be giant and your bears always be scary. One Mr. Boy. Well, thank you, Mr. Boy. That's very sweet. We appreciate it. It's comments like that make it all worth it. Next comment. Slopdog.
You know, these days he goes by Mr. Man because he grew up listening to 4PP.
Cool, Brad. What's Slopdog say, Nick?
With all this feet talk and Brad's interest in unlocking the mysteries of said feet, there is clearly a burning need for a feats channel in Discord. And in addition, hopefully we can get a toe-sucking channel as well.
Oh,
that's a big leap.
Do what must be done and save us from my cravings. I want to know what kind of conversations you can even have about... I feel like you can talk about feet. But what specifically are you going to discuss at length about toe sucking? You know what I mean? It's kind of like you either do it or you don't.
Do you suck on toes that have like bunions?
All right, next I'm moving on.
Yes, please. Thank God.
That's what you're into?
No, as in move on. Move the fuck on.
that just makes them more delectable.
Jesus.
Oh my God. But seriously, happy to hear Crispy.
The taste. Is that referencing the smoothie? Never mind.
Oh! I don't even know what's... Oh my God, okay. But
no, the taste. No.
You just keep saying it. You can't make it better by
if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the guy tasting the ice cream. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Then I don't know.
Is there foot ice cream? What is this?
This person makes a smoothie and...
Go on.
Tell the story.
They drink it and they're like, the taste.
That's it?
Cool story, Brad.
Someone post the video.
Oh God, guys, the taste.
I forget what they say. They say,
"Is this the
Brad,
ice cream?"
You don't remember
video?
They say the taste.
The taste is so real, or something like that. Damn it!
Oh my God!
I'll find it.
He goes on to say, but seriously, I'm happy to hear Crispy likes the Blair Witch Project. It's still one of my top horror movies. Nothing more terrifying to me than the unknown.
I want to see a video of a guy sucking on a toe, and he's like, cleans up, move around, all the stuff. And that's a 10.
Hints of cherry.
That's a 10.
Oh my God! And
it's not a highlight. No one even knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is
it
not
even
a good
funny?
highlight.
I'm gonna play the video right now.
This is not a good
shout
highlight.
out to Ashif96. Thanks you for subscribing. We appreciate it. 2 months in a row. I'm gonna finish this comment. I'm almost done. And if I have to get more specific about my favorite food, I do recall this conversation now. Then I'll have to rescind.
The flavor. That's what I'm thinking.
Perfect. The
That's
flavor.
what I'm thinking of.
Shut the fuck up, Brad.
The flavor.
What is his favorite food?
I'll have to rescind my answer of tacos and say it has to be buffalo chicken pizza. And even more specific than that would be buffalo chicken pizza from Bethel Pizza House in Bethel, Connecticut.
The fuck?
Okay.
Who goes to a brothel to get pizza?
Oh God. But yeah, that is definitely more specific. We appreciate it.
I mean, who goes to a strip club for a steak?
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
I would say I do like if it's a good buffalo chicken pizza. I get into it.
I do enjoy some buffalo chicken pizza. Grab a beer says, "Do not," in all caps.
I feel like the chicken on a buffalo chicken pizza is never that good.
Well, where are you getting it from?
Well, I mean, I feel like
is it farm raised?
I feel like the chicken is always like it's like cubed, not cubed, but
strips.
It's just not. It's just,
what do you want?
We're not gonna put bone-in chicken wings.
That's what I want.
Do you want like
I want
shredded
bones? Yeah, like maybe like a shredded. Buffalo. I mean, like buffalo chicken, right? You see shredded women with like a barbecue chicken.
Well, here's the thing, Brett. I think my assumption being, when you go to a pizza place, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they get like a chicken breast and then cook it and then cut it. I'm pretty sure they get like frozen breasts.
Yeah.
Everything's already prepared because that has to be quick. I think maybe if you were to go to more of a like I don't say like an artisanal like pizza place, but something that's a little nicer, they might do something like that.
Something to consider. You can also make your own buffalo chicken pizza.
I actually used to do that because HEBs around here they have like a to-go pizza that you just bake.
Yeah.
And you can buy like a cheese one, and then you buy like some chicken and some like Frank's Red Hot, and you can just make your own.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
The flavor. I'll show you.
I think he's not even like smacking very loud. So he's like the flavor, and you hear the. Brad, you got the flavor.
No,
you guys, I can hear
that noise.
There's
no smacking in the video.
Then why are you doing it?
I can hear that noise way too clearly through the microphone.
Here you go. Play it.
Fucking fine, Brad. I'll play the video.
Fucking God.
You should play it into the headphones.
That is amazing. Wow. Like, oh my God. The flavor. Oh my God, it's so real.
It's so real. Drinking some Pepto-Bismol? All right, that was not funny, Brad.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad we cleared it up though, at least. Yep. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I got the word wrong.
You ruined the joke, Brad. Yeah. Grab a beer says, "Do not," in all caps, "sleep on Sayonara Wild Hearts. Buy it for the Switch, wait until nighttime, throw in some headphones, and play through this amazing game. It has phenomenal music. It's only $13, and it's only about an hour long, but it's great. It's a great, forgiving rhythm game." Cool. That is something I actually looked that up when I saw this comment. It looks pretty cool, and the fact that it's only an hour seems like it's something I should definitely look into. He says, "Unfortunately, I have not been able to play Tetris Effect in VR, but I remember how you guys described that game as something magical. I have a very good feeling this is how you would feel about Sayonara Wild Hearts."
Interesting.
Right, cool. Sold.
It's kind of res-like with a much different type of music, I guess.
Yeah. And our last comment this evening comes from Slardacity. He says, "I personally would love to see a remake/remaster of Skies of Arcadia. Would buy it in a heartbeat." Yeah.
I wonder why is Sega just sleeping on that? I feel like if they made another Skies of Arcadia, people would be like losing it, right?
Probably
so, yeah.
But who was the actual development team?
Sega. It was Sega.
Internal Sega?
Yeah, it was, the Phantasy Star lady, the Valkyria
the
Chronicles.
Of course, the flavor.
I'm just saying that team may no longer exist.
The team doesn't have to exist for a game to be
somebody
made.
else could make it.
I think it's the Valkyria Chronicles team.
And let's be honest, that would be dope. That'd be a good combination, I think. All right, let's talk about.
They featured those characters in several Valkyria games, actually.
From Skies of Arcadia?
Yeah.
Yes. On the first one.
Interesting. All right, let's talk about video games, guys.
Okay.
Let's talk about stuff. I know we don't have a ton, but who wants to go first?
You, Nick.
Me? Why me?
You are our intrepid leader.
Oh, God. I don't like the sound of that. I could talk about the hour of The Surge 2 that I've played.
Do it. I dare you.
I didn't bring any footage.
Are you sure it's an hour, or is it more like 42 minutes?
Are you looking at my,
No.
No, he's just saying. We
no.
tend to round up when we talk about how long.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's an hour, but I'm counting cutscenes and shit as well. I literally only had an hour to play at night, and I was like, this was last week when I wasn't sure if we were doing a show, so I was like, I'm gonna try play something new.
Gotcha.
And I went with that. But I'm still playing Greedfall and stuff, so I just I don't want to get too committed to anything else right now. So I started The Surge 2. It's been sitting on my shelf and it's been taunting me for a while. And it's one of those games that, for whatever reason, I thought it looked really, really, really interesting. And I saw the demo for it at E3, and I thought it looked really fucking cool. I'm gonna tell you this. Maybe not from a gameplay perspective, because there's some cool stuff gameplay wise. I feel like a lot of the screenshots and videos they show of this game are very misleading in terms of like that game looks jank as fuck. Like right out of the gate, like does not leave a very good impression visually speaking. Everything looks kind of like smoothed over and like oh god, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know. And maybe it's just a difference between like the PC version, which I'm sure we were seeing when we saw it at E3.
Oh, of course.
But I don't feel like I've ever seen like a disparity that was so apparent to me.
I think there's definitely been games. It might be just a scenario where maybe those weren't ones you played. But no, there's definitely been times where we see something and it looks like, oh wow, but then when you get it, it's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it lacks detail. Yeah, I mean, sorry, Prince of the Universe in chat. Yes, I do think it lacks some detailed textures. There's a lot of like areas where like walls look very like maybe they didn't load all the way in, but I'm pretty sure that's just the texture. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. And then a lot of people look very like their skin looks like it's glowing and it's like, you know, super smooth. I don't know, because that's not the impression I got when I saw it at E3. Mechanically speaking, and again,
But that shouldn't bother you, right? You're playing Greedfall.
Greedfall looks better than this.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but it's
no.
got the occasional,
I mean,
like...
Again, I don't want this to be
what
like...
the fuck is wrong
I'm not,
with
like,
this
writing
person?
this game off and not planning on playing any more of it because of the way it looks. And to be honest, like, it's just the opening area that I've kind of gone through, which takes place basically in, like, a prison. So, like, maybe it's not the most interesting visually, but, like...
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the stuff that we saw at E3 was, like, outdoor areas, lots of trees, and it looked, you know, it looked better. Maybe the outdoor areas look better. I haven't really gotten to those areas, so... I'm planning on playing more of it. It's just one of those things that I'm going to go back to once I've, you know, finished Greedfall and stuff. But this is a Dark Souls game. Did anyone here play the Surge one?
Nope.
Nope.
Brad?
No.
Yeah, I didn't touch it either. This one looked pretty cool.
I remember Jaeger fucking despising it.
Oh, Jaeger despised it. Huh?
I think I do recall that.
I thought this game, the first one it was maybe a mixed bag, I suppose, but like despised is pretty heavy.
He despised Lords of the Fallen, which was the game they made before the Surge.
That is true. He definitely, I remember.
And then that sort of evolved into talking shit about the Surge. But we've had conversations about this. He's really just a Souls-like gatekeeper.
I mean, that's
just kidding, Jaeger. But you know what I'm talking about.
You know, I love Souls games. I've played a lot of them myself, and I was really hoping this would be something a little bit different, maybe a little less on the stressful side.
It's a 72 on Metacritic.
Yeah, and again,
the first one, not the second one.
Everything I'm saying about this game is after playing it only for about an hour. So I want you to everybody keep that in mind. Nobody freak out. Nobody call me out on this. It's only based on my very, very, very initial impressions.
What does that mean?
Something on the TV is not available. That's what that means.
Calm down, Brad.
Is somebody sitting on the remote?
I mean, it's possible.
I do.
Yes.
Was it you, Nolan?
Yeah. Guys, it's not available.
So this game does some pretty interesting things, I think, with the Dark Souls mechanics, and I'll get into more detail about this when I actually play more of the game and I bring footage and I'm willing to talk more about it. But like most games, you die, you lose your souls, and you have to get back to your souls or whatever.
Sure.
But when you die in this game, a clock starts like counting down, and if you don't get to your body before that, you lose everything. But every enemy that you kill between your reload extends the time.
Sure.
So it gives you incentive not to just like dodge. I haven't been in a situation where I've had to run like an extremely long way, but I can see there being scenarios where I would be like, I'm not going to make it unless I actually stop and take the time to engage in combat, which I think is a pretty novel idea. I did fight the first boss, and the first boss was like
easy.
No, pretty hard, but it was more, but not like necessarily the satisfying hard that you normally find in Dark Souls. It was a lot of just like he does way more damage to you than you do to him, and like trying to actually, and he has a lot of really like annoying like distance like that he can attack from a distance, and I'm sitting here with like a thing. I had to be like,
you gotta
really
get right
close.
up on him.
Yeah, and like that shit was really annoying.
Sounds like a Souls boss.
But like I Souls bosses tend to be pretty tight in the design department. I'm not sure I would call this tight. It almost felt unfair, and I don't really feel like I ever feel that way in a Dark Souls fight. Even when a Dark Souls fight is like super fucking hard, I never feel like it's unfair. I just feel like, okay, I need to get better at my timing, or better at this, or better at this. This is just like, this guy's taking pot shots from me at me from across the room, and I don't have anything to reciprocate with. I just have to like hide behind shit and then take pot shots at him when I have it.
You
very
thought
small opening.
What was it? The Four Kings in Dark Souls was fair.
Okay,
or like the Sentinels in Dark Souls 2 fair.
I'm not saying that's never the case in a Dark Souls game or a Souls game in general. That's obvious. There are obvious exceptions to that rule. I'm just saying this was my first impression of this first boss that I played. And like, I don't know. The premise of this game is really fucking weird. It's like you wake up in a prison after a plane crash, and like your first instinct is to like permanently meld with this like robotic.
Why not?
I'd do it. It's dope.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, the strategic dismemberment thing is pretty cool because like you actually have to like weaken enemies, and when you've weakened them enough, you can use these like it's why you hold the stick in a certain direction, then tap one of the face buttons, and you can like sever certain parts of their body, and different parts of their body give you different kinds of gear and upgrades that you can use to upgrade your suit, which is all pretty cool. And it's all like, oh my god, what just happened? Oh, we're dying. Sorry,
not available.
The camera just lost its mind. And I don't want to go into too much detail because, like I said, haven't played much of it. It seems like a cool idea. It looks a little rough right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But it has enough like interesting ideas that I'm gonna go back to it and give it another shot. So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Brad.
Speaking of games we played for an hour.
You got one too?
Maybe a little more than an hour. But granted, this isn't some big giant RPG like you're playing, where an hour is probably not much to go on. But, this is Anodyne 2. Anodyne 2. Nick?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you familiar?
What is going on with the camera?
I don't know.
Are you familiar with Anodyne?
Actually, not very.
I'm familiar with Iodine.
Oh my god.
Is that the
Iodine.
prequel?
And, yes, actually.
Brad, you had mentioned that somebody had put the original
I think it was
Anodyne
George,
on their top 10.
George or Zach, whoever the fuck that is, put the first game on their top 10. The first game.
Are you sure it wasn't Jack?
The first game was kind of like a 16-bit looking Zelda-y type puzzle, kind of like Link's Awakening or something, action platformer, or like a Zelda game, where you're solving.
We are very familiar.
You're going
with
from
Zelda.
screen to screen. You're solving puzzles.
This does
You're
not look like
exploring
that.
a world. No, this doesn't look like that. Not yet, at least. That was the first Anodyne. It was, it was like Zelda with less puzzles and more, I don't know, themes. Anodyne 2 is
A racer.
well, you can
An open world racer.
You can turn into a car, which is what I did.
Yeah, because why the fuck not?
So you're like a transformer?
No, I mean I don't know what you are. So this game is weird. It's very weird. You can turn into a car. No one tells you why you can turn into a car, or even that you can turn into a car. But I hit a button and I turned into a car.
All right.
What does this button do?
Driving around this world.
Pushing Y turns you into a car.
So this is a kind of, I guess, a somewhat ambitious sequel because there's like this big giant open world and you have
When did this game come out?
This year. You have these 3D graphics that are very, very much PS1 era.
Yeah, it's not 2002, right?
No, this is like slightly up-res PS1 looking graphics. But I mean, that's sort of its charm. That's actually what immediately drew me to the game were its visuals, right? We see so many like throwback pixel art games, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's just millions of them, mm-hmm. and you very rarely see an art style that's a throwback to early 3D graphics, and this does that, and it kind of nails the details, and it makes it really, really charming.
I feel like it's because awkward 3D graphics are like someone. It's kind of like. It's the awkwardness of someone going through puberty. It's like that's how I feel.
Sure, but I mean, old graphics are kind of rooted in nostalgia, and I mean, we could get academic, I guess, on what makes something nice looking, but regardless, I have a lot of nostalgia for these early 3D games, and I think it actually looks visually kind of striking and interesting, charm. Especially when you get out into the big world, which I've only really seen in videos because I'm not that far yet. I'm kind of stuck in this city doing things, and you do things in this game. I guess the main mechanic is you you explore the environment and you find people that have these issues, problems, if you will, and then you shrink down and you go into their brains or their bodies or whatever, and and once you get in there, that's when it's sort of like a 16-bit Zelda.
That
dungeon.
almost sounds like it almost reminds me of what was that other game? In a way, Psychonauts.
It is kind of Psychonauts in that structure, I suppose. Although Psychonauts is a very different sort of game. This is a very strange game. Everything's very weird, very, very weird. You talk to people, and sometimes some people are making sense, and then you talk to someone, and you're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It kind of reminds me of a little bit of something like Earthbound or like Undertale. In terms of just how weird shit is,
and
weird certain characters are.
The townsfolk aren't even like people; they're like.
Well, no, some of them absolutely are.
Wow, racist.
Some of them absolutely are people. Some are definitely not even close to people. Like sometimes you don't even know what the fuck you're looking at, and that's sort of like Earthbound or Undertale. The difference is, I'd say those games are more like explicitly funny. This is more just weird, but charming in some ways too, and it kind of, it seems like it has a heart. Like you are sort of going into you were born to remove dust from the world, which is like plaguing the world, but dust? It's all very so you go into their bodies or their minds.
Come on, Nick.
And all these people are having issues, and then you're going into these little 16-bit dungeons, which I'm about to do. With this character here, which looks like something out of fucking Dead Space. I don't know what it is. Or Silent Hill 1, right? Because these are PS1 graphics. And
you mean this man who's had his skin ripped off and has a giant tongue?
It's clearly a very unhealthy lick-a-tongue.
Yeah, kind of. So I'm about to go into its body, and once I do, it's going to change the gameplay and the look. It'll start to look more like the first game, Anodyne 1, or just Anodyne. Back when that came out.
I think anyone would change pretty drastically after going into that thing's body.
And so you're like you're removing the dust, which it's all very metaphorical. I just don't know where the metaphor is going yet because I'm so early on in the game. But I'm either maybe there's like themes of depression or mental illness or something's going on where these people are having some very clear issues. But I'm going in to remove the dust to quote unquote make them better. But I don't even know if that's like a good thing necessarily. Like I said, I need
like kind of like Undertale, where you're not really sure what the outcome of. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what is the actual repercussions of my actions?
Exactly. But I'm still early, and I got to play more. Oh, to get into their minds or their bodies, you got to do this like rhythm game. Very quick.
So it seems like they're fighting you from getting inside them. So clearly they don't want it.
Yeah. I don't know. Or it's the kind of thing where, like there's one dude who was just very angry. So I went in and removed the dust, and then he stopped being so angry. But sometimes angry people just are angry for other reasons, and there's no quick fix. And then when she comes out of the person, it seems like to be having some sort of negative effect on her. So I don't know where it's going.
Oh my god!
But it seems like it's going places.
A baby's gonna give us a thumbs up.
It's just very weird. This creature has a disease of the skin.
Colon?
You were literally flying through its like intestine or something.
Yeah, it's like Silent Hill 4, right?
So this is what the original Anodyne was like?
Yeah. Kind of like these tile-based, Zelda-based, or Zelda-style like dungeons and stuff. And each person's mind is like a very simple dungeon with its own unique mechanic. I mean, the mechanics and stuff in the game are not like super deep or interesting like the first game. You're not going to get complex puzzles like you would in a Zelda game. It's all pretty light, pretty breezy. There's some neat ideas here and there. It's the kind of thing where, you play through a couple of dungeons in Link's Awakening, and it's very simple compared to what you're going to be doing towards the end of the game, or like any Zelda game, right? And I feel like maybe I'm just really early, and that's why this stuff's really simple. Or maybe this stuff never really gets complex because it's more about the story and the vibes and the atmosphere and of course the metaphors, the weirdness, and the weirdness, right? And I know the weirdness can maybe turn some people off because even the dialogue can be very weird. I think it was Prince of the Universe who tried to play through this earlier this year, and it was like, I just like it's weirdness.
Prince of the Universe put a game down?
I don't know if he finished it or not, but I remember him going like, I just couldn't get past like the weirdness. Maybe it was kind of holding him back. But yeah. So once you go in here, it's more just kind of like a traditional game. And when you're out of the mines, it's more like this exploring this big huge open world, talking to people and whatnot. It is surprisingly compelling, and I do really really like that art style, that old kind of PS1 early 3D graphics, rough art style, just because you don't really see that. But then there's like moments of beauty in like the landscapes and stuff that it's like, wow. I mean, like it makes sense, right? Because even back then, even though it was early 3D graphics, some of that stuff could be very beautiful. Like we thought they were very beautiful. I mean, there was like a most beautiful game back then, for whatever year.
What was the most beautiful game of 1996?
I don't know. But like when we saw something like a Ocarina of Time, like to us that game was like very visually striking, right?
It still is.
Yeah, it still is. Sort of. Not really.
Prince of the Universe is in chat, and he says, I did not finish it. I said it was quote-unquote too weird for its own good.
Well, maybe
to each their own.
Just not into the weird shit. Well, like I said, something like an Earthbound or like an Undertale is also very weird, but like I think that relies on comedy to kind of get past all that, right? And this seems to not be doing that. Now, there is some like meta jokes and stuff in the game, but again, it's just not the same type of thing they're going for here. So yeah, I mean it's cool. I need to play more. It's one that I've been sort of interested in playing as soon as I saw that very first trailer, not just because I'm kind of taken by the visuals of the game, again more so outside of the dungeons, where people's minds or bodies, whatever the fuck it is,
colons,
but more that I'm impressed that it went from a game that was pretty much all like this to like a big 3D expansive world where you can just turn into a car.
It's a pretty cool jump.
Like it's hard to tell from my footage here, but I recommend like watching like a trailer of this game, because there's like these pretty like I get like Shadow of the Colossus vibes, like looking at like the sweeping landscapes of nothingness that, again, like Shadow of the Colossus, kind of rudimentary in terms of like graphics even for its time, but like at the same time kind of breathtaking in its simplicity. And this game definitely has some of that going for it, I feel like.
Cool.
So, yeah. Anodyne 2. It's weird. Be prepared for some weird shit,
Weird shit.
Which I'm not surprised. When I first turned on this game, the title screen music really reminded me of Twin Peaks. The theme for, like, the Twin Peaks,
the
music,
TV show?
The theme. Yeah. Like, so, I would not be surprised if maybe like David Lynch or whatever is some like inspiration to this developer, because it's certainly weird enough.
Man of the Lamb wants to know if this is PC only.
I don't really know. Maybe, probably. But I think the original Anodyne eventually sort of came to everything. So if this is PC only, maybe it will eventually not become PC only. We'll see. But yeah, it's cool. I'm definitely going to play more of this.
I think it's pretty rare these days for anything to stay exclusive to any platform for too long.
Yeah. Oh, and thank you, Green Toast. Green Toast gifted this.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Mr. Green Toast. All right. Hey, Nolan.
This is the boss.
You want to give us an update on how's it going with Indivisible?
Sure, I can do that. It's going... but slowly. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast so far. Just it was what we were talking about before the podcast. I'm only maybe about 4 or 5 hours tops.
Yeah,
if even. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to play it.
Yeah.
How many characters do you have at this point?
Probably the same amount as the last time we
really
talked. No, sorry. Well, I don't remember when we talked. I guess if we talked about the podcast 2 weeks ago, then I have more. I think I have 6 or 7 now.
Yeah.
So 4 in my party and like 3 off to the side. This is a boss fight.
Is this the boss fight you got stuck on?
Well, hopefully, for the sake of the footage, you'll get through it pretty quickly.
I do. So, I mean, spoilers, I guess, if you don't want to see this boss fight. I think I fought this boss like 5 times before I beat him.
So I started this game and I found, at least early on, that the combat was like surprisingly punishing. Like it was really easy to die quickly.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what I was saying about it for the E3 demo.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you really have to. So I didn't bring any healing characters into this. So I have 2 healing characters, and I tried it because this is not my first time, like I said, fighting this boss. This is my 4th or 5th time trying to fight him. And so depending on the character, sometimes they have lower health, but they can heal, and it's kind of this back and forth. And I tried this guy multiple times, and it's kind of learning his quirks. But the problem with this is it's a multi-part battle. You see that health bar at the bottom?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to drain that all the way to the bottom. Something's going to happen, then we have to do some out-of-battle shit, and then fight his second phase, and then fight his third phase. And if any point in time you die, you start from the very fucking beginning. And that's what frustrated me.
I feel like boss fights in general that are, like, multi-parts are, like, really cool in concept, but anytime there's no, like, checkpointing between those phases, it's the fucking worst.
Yeah, and like, the trick with this boss was I found out that, like, he has kind of... whenever he attacks, he has like a shit ton of heads, and you'll see like all of his heads pop up, and you have to hit him once for each of his heads until he starts taking damage. And it wasn't until this time that I brought in that one character one of his attacks is a shit ton of rapid, very weak attacks in a row, and that knocks out all of his heads real quick, which then allows me to do more damage. And so I actually do beat him on my first try. What I'm doing here right now is I was backtracking to see if those fireballs come flying at me. And generally, when you're outside of battle, if you attack an enemy, either with your axe or with a bow, which I have, you'll gain some of that like kind of gauge you'll see in battle, and that gauge is what allows you to use kind of like a special move.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see if I could boost up that gauge before I go into battle with him again, and turns out I can't. But anyway. So like I said, I'm a little bit farther. I've kind of explored some stuff, done quite a bit more story, got some new equipment for my character, got some new characters to join my party. Still all very good. Still continuing that all the kind of major cutscenes are completely voice acted. Good
story
vocal work.
Kind of coming to.
Yeah, some interesting stuff's happening, and that's kind of why I was skipping those cutscene things, because there is some kind of information in those.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I don't skip the cutscenes at the very end just because I hadn't seen them yet, and I didn't want to skip them.
Just thinking of yourself, Nolan.
Yeah, so maybe don't pay attention to what's being said at the end if we get through it. But I'm still enjoying it. Like we had talked about the last time we talked about this game, as you can see, my combos are getting longer and more intense, and I've kind of learned when to do certain things, and you'll see I'm getting much better at always blocking and knowing how the process works.
Is that owl a character, or is that sitting on someone's arm?
Yeah, so that character, I forget her name, she has an owl.
It's enormous.
It is. And so it's not really an owl, it's more of like an eagle of some type. And you see how I beat that guy in like one kind that one thing in one kind of burst of my. That's because I figured out his like kind of trick. The first time I fought him, like that took me like 4 or 5 things. Like this, the speed at which I beat this boss right now
is not
like half the time it took me to fail in other times, just because I kind of figured out a good pattern. But anyway, so that's a special character. So one of her things that she can do is she just has the owl sitting on her arm, but she can actually switch the owl's position. Or sorry, I keep saying owl, eagle.
Sorry, I planted it.
You did. To where the eagle's flying and she's holding on to him, so she's floating. So that changes her attacks. But if she gets attacked while doing that, she takes a little more damage and gets knocked down.
Yeah.
And so I think you'll definitely see me do it in this next little like fight I'm about to do. But you can do a thing where you'll launch the eagle up. You'll be floating, and then you can launch him. And so both her and the eagle disappear for like 5 or 6 seconds, and they do like a swooping attack. It's kind of like Fly from Pokemon, if you remember that, where you take one turn and you're gone, and the enemy can't do anything, and then you come back with a big attack.
Or Freya from Final Fantasy IX, her jump attack.
Yeah, similar to that too. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Same concept.
Deep cut.
No, it's not.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm definitely.
How about Kane from Final Fantasy IV?
Yes, that works as well. Okay. We're all quoting great examples.
Chris Davis, where's your example?
Come back to me.
Okay. But anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. I will say that kind of this frustrated me.
Yeah.
Until this run where I do extremely well and no one fucking dies, or anything. Like, I was surprised how quickly, but that's like I said, I just got the timing really down. I had noticed that with I forget the characters' names. I haven't spent enough time with him yet. But with his little turban, he like kind of takes off his turban and does this like fucking flip attack. I noticed if I save 2 of those and then pair that with the fucking eagle attack and like just kind of noticing how to juggle enemies more, that I fucking beat this guy like no problem this time.
That's cool though. I mean, that's
demonstrates like mastery of the mechanics. Actually,
it was very frustrating all the times y'all didn't see me beating him, where it took me over and over. And so what happens is in battle, when you have that kind of energy bar at the top built up, if you use it when a character's downed, they get revived and everyone gets some health back. In previous run-throughs of this boss, there were times where I had to use that 3 or 4 times in a single, not in a single run, in a single instance of like his 3-part phases, like in his second. And so it's just one of those things where I spent so much time trying to figure it out. I got very frustrated with the game.
Yeah.
And so, and I was kind of talking with Nick about it before the podcast about it. One of my frustrations was that it is old school kind of RPG. Like there's no autosaves. You save at save points.
Yeah.
If you quit the game
that seems so bizarre for a modern game.
They wanted to be a throwback, old school. But one of the cool things is that I do really love about this game is when you like boot it up, there's no like start screen. Well, I mean there kind of is, but like when it boots up, you go directly to where your character had saved last. So like the game boots and then it loads and you see your character sitting at the last shrine you were last at, which I thought was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely going to continue playing it. I think I've kind of started to hit that groove where I'm getting into it now that I'm that 4 hours in or whatever, and kind of starting to understand the mechanics a little bit better and understanding the characters
to take shape.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's Indivisible. If you forgot, Indivisible, which is still looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
This is also another game I should consider playing, considering I'm in the middle of a midlife crisis, as Brad likes to put it.
midlife gaming crisis.
Midlife gaming crisis. It's not really a midlife gaming crisis.
It's more of a Half-Life crisis?
It's more crisis with a Y. Yeah. Half-Life crisis with a Y.
I mean,
I'm just making a lot of weird decisions for games.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Why not play Half-Life?
I think this is less of a midlife crisis or midlife gaming crisis or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and more of a just maybe an indicator of how I feel about the games that are coming out this year.
Okay.
There's not a ton that I'm super enthused about playing.
Honestly, that's kind of been a blessing in disguise for me because I don't feel like I'm currently falling behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I'm like, fuck, I gotta play this, I gotta play this. I like this lull that we're in right now.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are definitely still games that are out right now, whatever. That
it depends on who you ask, because like some people are saying like 2019 is like, this is an amazing fucking year. But this is no 2018
I think we were front-loaded with a bunch of stuff, and I think we're going to be back-loaded with a bunch of stuff. But I think there's been a pretty good kind of lull in the middle of this year where there have been some good games, but there haven't been a shit ton of them, which is good because I haven't had much time to game lately.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, Brad pointed out that I've been making some weird decisions. Like I played through Darksiders 3 randomly. This week I played 4 hours of Jak and Daxter: The Precursor's Legacy.
Sure.
I got that from limited run games, and I was like, I fucking love that game, so I'm gonna try it. And I still love that game, despite its camera being terrible.
I don't understand. What limited run games put it out?
Yeah.
I mean, I have the Jak and Daxter collection on a disc already.
Yeah.
Who put that out? Sony? Sony, right?
Yes.
So what is
on PS3? I got it on PS4, and to be honest, I don't like Jak 2 or Jak 3. I think those kind of lost. I mean, those are fine games, I suppose, but like neither of them are like what I cherish and love about Jak and Daxter, the original.
Sure.
Anyways, I'm not here to talk about Jak and Daxter.
You like collecting shit?
Sure, I like collecting shit. That game was fucking dope. I totally forgot that game had like all the personality and like charm that game had, and it had like a day-night cycle. I totally fucking forgot. Like that game was ahead of its time. It was pretty fucking cool. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna talk about Jak and Daxter.
You've been playing something much more relevant.
You joke, but it is actually relevant considering the new Call of Duty comes out at the end of this week.
So you've been playing.
I played Call of Duty World War II.
What?
And I'm not going to talk much about this because I know the attitude it may be in this room towards the game and in our community. It's Call of Duty. There's not a whole lot of like light I can shine on Call of Duty that's going to make it interesting. I'm going to talk about the new Modern Warfare tomorrow or next week because I plan on playing that and I love that the original series and I think it's going to be
this weekend,
Friday. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this one turns out specifically because of all the the lineup changes and the development changes and all this stuff and that's the discussion for next week. But Carlos actually, I mentioned Call of Duty when I was streaming Fear, which is the game we're playing for our Revival Club right now. And Carlos was like, and I was like, I kind of wish I had played Call of Duty World War II. It was the last single player campaign they put out. And Carlos was like, I have a code. And he offered to give it to me, and I offered to give him some money for it because I didn't want to take it from him. So I got it for cheap, and I decided I was going to play it. It's something quick I can just kind of like knock out, and I needed a change of pace or a palate cleanser, if you will. I'm pretty deep into Greedfall. I'm like 36, 37 hours into Greedfall, and I was just getting, I needed to switch it up. So I blew through this campaign in like 2 sittings. I finished this last night. And maybe Chris Davis can enlighten me because I have not touched many of these Call of Duty games. In fact, the last Call of Duty campaign I can even remember playing and liking was the original Black Ops. Maybe I played Advanced Warfare, the one with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
and that one was largely throwaway. I feel like. And I haven't really liked any of the other Black Ops after the first one.
I think I might have Redboxed that for a hot minute.
Advanced Warfare?
Yeah,
that game was weird.
Yeah.
The game was really weird.
You should go back and give Black Ops 2 a try.
I played over half of Black Ops 2. I could not stand that game.
Better yet, Medal of Honor Airborne. Go back and try that.
But see,
that game was interesting.
The jokes begin. Brett. And I'm going to be honest, I have never...
Are you pulling that guy by his head?
Yes, I'm grabbing him by his head and just pulling him off the field.
Look like. That's not safe at all,
No,
Nick.
you grab him by his bootstraps or whatever.
That's not where his bootstraps are, Nick.
And that's not what that means.
I know. That's a joke. Oh, God, you guys are killing me. I have never played a Call of Duty game that took place in World War II. In fact, I've never played a first-person shooter that took place in World War II.
You didn't play Call of Duty 2?
I did not play Call of Duty 2. I did not play any of the Medal of Honors. I have never played which is probably why.
Wait a minute.
What?
You played World at War.
That is a World War II game.
You played World at War.
You know what's funny? I think I forgot that existed until you just mentioned
Jack Bauer,
isn't it? Like how we do with most
it's Black
Call of
Ops
Duty
Point
games.
5.
Jack Bauer was in it. Yeah,
I may have played that. Yeah, you're right. I may have played that. What I'm really trying to say, I just don't have a lot of experience with the World War II first-person shooter genre, which may contribute to why I was making radical statements in Discord. Like, this is probably my favorite Call of Duty campaign since I played the original Black Ops. I said something along those lines. But to be honest, and I can see it stewing in Chris Davis's head right now. This game doesn't do anything spectacular with that formula. In fact, I'm sure it's a lot of retreaded ground, right?
Yeah, it is fucking paint by numbers.
It is paint by numbers, but it is a number it's just something I've never really delved into myself. So a lot of this felt fresh to me, and I'm playing it on PC because, like I said, Carlos gave me a Steam code, and it runs beautifully on my PC. Proving my PC can do things, believe it or not.
The only thing that this game does that's like a retro throwback is
that what we care about? It doing something that's a retro throwback?
Well, more that it tried to feature itself as a unique feature to this game.
Okay.
Compared to the rest of the Call of Duties, was that there's no regenerating health system.
That's true. That is true. In fact, my favorite, mechanically speaking, I don't remember if there's any other Call of Duties that have done this. This is probably not original to this game, but the one thing that is cool is because it is a World War II story, and you're always with your squad, and you're always on these missions that feel very different, obviously, than something like Modern Warfare, right? Modern Warfare is more focused on trying to take out terrorist groups and whatnot. This is more of traditional a war story where you're trying to take back the hill or turn the tide of battle on an actual battlefield, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So you're with your squad all the time, and you can, and as you perform heroic feats, which is like pulling someone to safety who's been wounded on the battlefield and stuff. You unlock abilities for your squad mates, and you can actually have them toss you like extra grenades or refill your ammo. Or so in the middle of battle, I could be like shooting and then running out of ammo, and then I can like turn to my partner and like hit up on the D-pad, and he'll toss me ammo for my gun, and I grab it out of midair and like reload my gun, which feels really smooth and really nice. Like I really like that. So they can give you grenades, ammo, health, one of the sergeant can actually like call out enemies, and suddenly they get highlighted on the map, so you can actually see them clearly, even if they're like obscured by like smoke and stuff. That stuff's pretty cool.
But like things like that where health and ammo are limited, they make it into its own game mechanic where you actually have to strive for that and try to go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's so limited, like, but the enemy count that you're fighting is a traditional Call of Duty amount where it's like tons of dudes you have to shoot.
I mean, it
doesn't match well.
Yeah. I'm not saying everything works amazingly here. What I will say is that I've never played, as far as I can remember, I've never played a. Wait, did Sledgehammer do Advanced Warfare? I don't remember who. I can't keep track of these teams anymore.
Sledgehammer did Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, so I wasn't super impressed with that one, and this is the same team that did this. I like this a hell of a lot more than Advanced Warfare. The story feels. I mean, it was kind of nice to play. Just like a traditional, like straightforward, like war story that felt different than like Modern Warfare and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. It doesn't do anything super original. It does the beaches of Normandy and like all those things you would expect to be. But there's like straight up, there's a few like really cool missions in this.
You're on Normandy in this. You storm Normandy. You storm. You said it does the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, the opening
it's
mission.
like the opening mission.
Okay.
Oh my god! Why does every single one?
I don't like after all the fighting's done. Is one guy like love it?
I fucking knew it, Nolan. I fucking knew it. Oh, Brad, you missed that. That was fantastic. Did someone tell Brad that story? I'm gonna fuck it up. We'll tell you during the break. But last week it was a pretty good moment. You threw me off there.
Sorry.
Nolan. God damn it.
I mean, just this game doesn't do anything particularly special in my opinion.
Maybe not, but like I liked all the characters. I was invested for almost the entire thing, even though it doesn't do anything particularly interesting with that like this kind of story necessarily. Like it's still it's like if you sat down and watched a good, like, by the numbers World War II
You know what's
movie.
special, Chris Davis? Killing Nazis. And if you don't think so, then you're part of the problem.
You do
killing Nazis is a special experience across the board.
You do kill Nazis. They don't do killing Nazis in anything particularly exciting. I think also when I made that comment in Discord about me loving this campaign, it was right after I had finished the stealth like spy mission where you're actually infiltrating a Nazi like base in the middle of France, like where you actually like pose as a Nazi officer and like go in and you're trying to sneak around and find all these documents and stuff. Like that was a really cool fucking mission, and it was kind of unlike anything I'd seen in a Call of Duty game in a while.
And then Hitler signs your Grail diary.
Yeah.
No.
Chris Davis wants something new in World War II, like robot dogs.
I just that was Wolfenstein The New Order, basically.
I am not disagreeing with Chris Davis here. I think you're probably totally on point here. I'm just saying, if you can look at it for what it is, which is just a straightforward World War II story and Call of Duty mechanics, all around it's solid. It's solid, and since I haven't played a World War II one in a while, I think this holds up really fucking well.
I just think that this game, that they played it very, very safe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is incredibly safe.
They took no risks in doing this. The only reason this game exists is because people had the Advanced Warfare and the Modern Warfare fatigue at the time.
Sure,
people were wanting a World War II. That
is also very fair. But you know what? It may have also been what the series needed. I think this is a pretty well received.
I'm just saying, Europe has been done so much. The Pacific Theater's been done so very little. You could do that, and that would be a very interesting thing.
You're probably right, but don't worry, Chris Davis. Give it a couple of years, and you'll probably see it, because this series is not going to stop anytime soon.
Well,
and I'll be interested. I really wanted. I mainly decided to play this now because I wanted to just have something to immediately compare to Modern Warfare, which comes out on Friday.
Have they ever done like a Call of Duty and like Nam?
They did a Medal of Honor.
Black Ops featured.
Oh right, the original Black Ops took place in not. That game took some interesting risks.
You mean Nam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I liked the original Black Ops. I just wish I liked Black Ops 2 more.
I wish you liked Black Ops 2 because they do so many interesting.
What is up with Black? So first of all, Call of Duty Black Ops is like straight up like a Vietnam story where it talks about like trauma and like hallucination and that kind of shit. And there's like weird shit happening. You know
there's elements of Vietnam, but it's that's only like a couple levels, honestly.
Maybe that's all I remember.
Dude, that guy took a bullet like a champ.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Like one of the early missions in Black Ops is you go sabotage a Russian cosmonaut station.
Yeah, I mean, but like, look at Black Ops 2, 3, and well, I mean not 4, but like, you're like in space. It's fucking bizarre. That series
fighting space
That
Nazis?
series just took like a weird left turn that I wasn't ready for. I like the original Black Ops 1 though. Anyways, we've probably already talked way more about Call of Duty than I was ready or that y'all wanted to hear about. I just wanted to get it out there.
It's okay.
I played World War II.
Cool.
I agree with Crispy's assessment from a few years ago, which is it's a nice distraction. It's a pretty good campaign.
Crispy said that about this game?
Crispy played this game and he was like, it's pretty good.
I think you would have had more fun if you would have played Infinite Warfare.
Dude, I can't, like, all that weird, like...
I understand that.
All that weird sci-fi
future
shit.
sci-fi fatigue. I understand that. But that was actually a pretty decent campaign.
Maybe. But you also think that about Black Ops 2, which is trash. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What if there was like a Call of Duty with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yes. I would go for that.
I mean...
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a future Jurassic World cross-lay. It's like Call of Jurassic World or something like that.
Dude, you laugh, but, like, that's kind of what the remake of Turok was. It was like a futuristic...
No, but I'm saying of this style. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not like a Turok game, like a this, where it's, like, very, like, focused, like, first-person shooter.
I'll play anything with dinosaurs in it.
But instead of the enemies being Nazis, they're, like...
Nazi dinosaurs.
No, maybe they're, like... I don't know.
Scarecrow says,
like maybe Somalians with raptors.
Sure.
You know what would be awesome?
Tell me, Brad. Tell me what would be awesome.
Resident Evil 4, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Or
I challenge you to figure out a game premise that's not improved with dinosaurs.
I will raise you this, Brad. How about Resident Evil 7, but with dinosaurs?
No, I'll take 4.
Fuck yes.
No, I'll take 4.
Sorry, you're
4
wrong.
is a much better feeling game.
But 7 is horror. I want that original Dino Crisis experience where I'm terrified of every going in every door. That's what I want. Anyways, we've got...
And maybe like, because what's his face? What's the guy in 7 that follows you around?
I would have accepted remake too.
Papa.
Papa, whatever. But
Big Papa.
Yeah, Big Papa. But instead, like, he's like a raptor, and the longer the game goes, he learns to open doors. Like at first, you can escape from him, but he's like, oh, they're learning, and you just see him like through the glass on the door. And you see the door handle, so you're like, oh god, and you gotta run away. And
then look, remake 2, Mr. X, that's the better one.
Sure.
Brad, let me use my words to paint pictures of joy.
I got you.
Okay. That's kind of what I've been up to. I've been playing some Greedfall and this and some Jack and Daxter. I've been kind of bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, to say the least.
I can't really I'm having trouble getting excited about things this year. I don't know what it is. Like Outer Worlds is getting great reviews. It's like all the hype for Outer Worlds has just left my body.
I wouldn't say great reviews. I'd say it's getting some solid
How about
reviews.
this? Better than I was ever expecting it to get.
Same
I mean, I saw it at E3. I thought it looked good, but I was like, let's temper our expectations here. It's an Obsidian game. It's probably going to be a technical mess. Turns out it's not.
Well, no, Obsidian doesn't. Every game they make isn't a technical mess. I think in certain scenarios, and what we've seen from
I'm thinking mostly of New Vegas and Alpha Protocol being technical messes.
I would say there's reasons that was the case.
Sure.
This is a game that they set off to do on their own with their goal in mind, kind of like built from the ground up.
Perhaps not a fair assessment. Yeah. I will give you that. Okay. I'm just saying, I was kind of expecting, I was there at some point I was excited for this game.
They made South Park and the Stick of Truth.
You're right.
That wasn't a technical mess.
You're right. You're absolutely right. At some point, I was excited for Outer Worlds, and
pretty fine.
As we got closer and closer to Outer Worlds, I just started to feel less and less excited about it. And now it's on the horizon, and I'm just like, I don't care.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's weird.
I mean, you're playing Jack and Daxter. I think you might like Outer Worlds.
I might, but you know what? I'm gonna wait and see what they say about it on 4Player podcast, and then I will.
Wait, is anyone here playing it?
Nolan, you gotta play, right? You're like the biggest Fallout fan.
Do you not listen to me when I talk on this show, Brad?
It's space Fallout.
I literally just talked about the fact that I don't know if I'm in the mental place to play a game like that.
Yeah, but I saw someone in chat say it's just about 20 hours.
30.
Nick said it was 25 to 30. Brad, do you listen to us?
20 is even shorter.
Yes, 20 is shorter than 25 to 30. Thank you for the math lesson.
Somebody on this show will play it at some point. That's all I know, and maybe that's what I'm waiting for. Let's just move on. Is there anything else?
Maybe Crispy will play it.
If Outer Worlds falls into my lap, I'll play it.
All right, maybe.
Are you going to play it, Chris Davis?
I've been thinking about it.
What are you playing?
Nothing other than DLC for games.
DLC
really.
for what?
DLC for what?
Well, you're gonna make me say it. I played the new
Division.
I played the Division 2 expansion that just came out. The one other thing that I've really been playing, in fact, I finished it the other day, was the 2 Kernels DLC for Metro Exodus.
How's
2
that?
kernels?
Yeah.
Like Colonel Sanders?
That's the one where it's like
Not
kind
quite.
of like classic Metro, right? Where it's in the subway.
Yeah, it's much more. It's about the city from the end of the game.
Cool,
And one of
cool.
the main characters in there. And so it fills in like the story for a background character that you meet.
See, like Metro Exodus, if I hadn't played that, I'd be like all over that right now. But I played that when it came out. Y'all should play. You should play Metro.
Nah.
Shit.
Nah.
This son of a bitch over here telling
Bro,
me
come
like he
on.
thinks I like undersold Metro, and like that's the reason he's not playing it or something.
Did you get any? Same thing with the one with the rats.
A
You were
Plague
like
Tale?
on it.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I
chose
would
not to
say
play it.
maybe skip a Plague Tale. Metro Exodus, dude, come on, like it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Metro Exodus is really fun.
Metro is dope.
Yeah. Hey,
Metro Exodus, I think, has a better chance of being on my top 10 this year than Control.
damn, I'm not playing Control either because you hate it.
Bro, you remember
That's
playing
bullshit.
through Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl where every single time you went to a new map, you were like just like checking everything out?
Yeah.
That's what Metro Exodus
That's
is.
what Metro does.
But I didn't like the first two.
Maybe
Metros.
Brad feels that way, the same way I do about
But
2019.
the first 2 games were linear as fuck.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. I never
Like
really-
this new game, it's like
You're
segmented open
scrounging,
worlds that you're spending.
scavenging.
I don't care. You know what? Fuck it. Brad's not going to play Metro Exodus. He owns Outer Wilds, and he hasn't played that or finished it.
Not only have I've played it. I'm the one who pitched it to all of you fuckers.
I know,
So
and I played it, and I beat it. You should beat it.
I plan to beat it.
You plan to beat it
Yeah, instead you spent 200 hours playing Monster Hunter World.
and
Yeah.
slay the spire.
Hey, what the fuck am I? I'm about to spend 100 hours playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again, so...
Do you know?
You know.
Do you know what's hard to do? Play like a nice, quiet, introspective game when you have like kids and shit around. I'm telling you,
Fair enough.
I've
Fair.
been waiting for a good moment to sit down and spend time with that, which I've stumbled into. So I will get to it when I get to it.
Wonderful. All right.
Cool story, Brad.
Let's take a break.
I want to ask him about like his latest hoodie or whatever he got in the Division 2. No?
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about our Project M, which is coming up in December. We're gonna read through some suggestions and ideas that were submitted to us by you guys, and we're gonna talk about some of our own ideas, and we're gonna try and narrow the list a little bit. We're probably not gonna come to a final conclusion tonight. You know, Crispy's not here to help us to contribute to that, so we obviously don't want to make a decision without him here, but we're going to try and narrow the playing field, because we got a lot of ideas floating around out here. So we're going to talk about that in the second segment. We will read some questions from our supporters on Patreon and Twitch, so if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Show, everybody. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we are going to spend the next 20-30 minutes here. We're going to have a little discussion about Project M. And if you're not familiar with Project M, let me just tell you real quick. We've done
What's Project M?
We've done a couple of these over the years. We've been doing this show for about 10 years. We've done 2 official Project M's, several smaller mini Project M's. But essentially what they are is a stream where we're all together in the same room playing a game, racing through a game, if you will. We did our first one, our maiden voyage, if you will, of Project M was way back in the day, before we were honestly equipped to even do such a thing on our stream. We did The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. We raced through that. We had 4 people race through Ocarina of Time. It was a hell of a lot of fun. It took us about 18, 19 hours, I want to say, roughly. and it was a grand old time. So and then just a few years ago we did our second one, which was Super Mario 64, which was also a ton of fun. We actually took donations and raised money for charity when we did that one, which turned out great. I think we raised like $3,000, maybe a little more than that.
Correct.
For that, which was awesome. So we are going to be doing that again. We reached 150 patrons, supporters on Patreon. Again, if you're interested in supporting us, it's patreon.com/4Player. But like I said, we've reached our goal of 150, so we're going to be doing our next project in December, it looks like. But what we have not yet figured out is what game we're going to be playing. We've talked a lot behind the scenes about what games we might feature, and we've asked you guys to submit some of your ideas for what you would like to see. Here's the tricky part. This is why we need to deliberate this. One, there's a sweet spot, right? You got to find a game that is the right length, that you can finish that you can finish in one sitting comfortably,
even if you've never played the game before.
Yeah, it's got to be something that you can sit, because like Mario 64 is easy because it's like, okay, you need to go for 60 stars. Is it 60?
70.
70. No, is that what we did?
Who knows?
70.
Yeah. Okay.
We started with 70, and then
Continue.
Yes. Okay. 70 stars.
Irrelevant.
Right. Ocarina of Time, easy because you know exactly how many temples there are, and then you fight Ganon, boom, you're done. And those were both games that we were able to do in about 20-ish hours.
Can I also say that we like to look for something that is pretty nostalgic and very popular?
Yes.
The reason being is, I think when you're watching a race, knowing where everyone's at in the race, in the game, how close they are to each other, I think is a super important part of the story of watching people race a game. You know? Like that narrative is important. And if you don't have that, you're just kind of watching. I mean, it's just hard to follow. Exactly. So we try to pick nostalgic games, very popular games, older games. I mean, they don't have to be super old.
No, they don't.
Maybe at least 10 years old.
We've joked about doing a 2019 game just so we can squeeze one more in before the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well.
But and I think one thing that we've maybe unofficially decided already is that we want to try and introduce some new like rules or side like if we reach like let's just call it like a stretch goal or something. It's like, say we were taking donations, like reach a stretch goal. We say, all right, we're going to stop what we're doing in this game and we're going to like race through like a much shorter, smaller experience and then jump back into the other one. That kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I know Chris Davis has also introduced this idea of doing this like a more of a points-based system. So instead of like point A to point B, it's whoever has the most points based off of, whatever it may be at the end of the event is the winner, not necessarily who crosses the finish line first. So whoever takes the time to, smell the roses and find all the secret stuff on their way to finishing the game may end up putting themselves ahead of the other,
because if you're
players.
playing a singular game for like 15, 20 hours in a sitting,
yeah,
and you're sitting right next to one another, you'll get fatigued.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Maybe you will.
Well, if you're not Nolan, basically.
Nolan has the... Nolan never gets fatigued. He just wins things.
It's a neat idea. It just seems kind of complicated. But
the thing is, it can be as complicated as we want it to be, or uncomplicated. Like, it doesn't have to be elaborate. The thing is, at the very base level, I like the idea of having a point system, even if it's not like, super thorough and detailed, and like all these different tiers, whatever. And we can get into the nitty gritty of that kind of stuff, maybe off the podcast, because right now we want to figure out a game to play, or maybe a couple of games to feature in this event in some form. And then we can kind of figure out the nitty-gritty later and let y'all know. But right now, we have to decide what we're going to play. And that's kind of what we want to do right now. So, of course, Crispy is not here tonight, and we want to get his input on it and have him have a say in what we're going to play, because he's going to be participating in the event. So we're not going to come to a conclusive decision tonight, but we're going to hopefully narrow it down, or that's the goal at least.
Correct.
So maybe we should start with throwing out some of the stuff that we have already discussed and maybe even eliminated from the discussions before I start going down the list of stuff that you guys have suggested.
Not Majora's Mask.
So yeah, one thing I think we've talked about at length is
my pitch.
We've been very close to doing Majora's Mask, and it has been pretty. I mean, I don't want to call you out, Brad, but it has been pretty heavily vetoed by Brad Simons here.
Well, I mean, hey,
You hate games that feature time management.
That and we've done Ocarina of
Yeah,
Time.
I agree with Brad in that regard. We've already done like a 3D Zelda like that. Why do another one when there are literally hundreds of other games we could choose?
And you have somebody like Nick who played that shit every weekend. And
people I
like
played
Crispy.
Ocarina of Time every other weekend, and I lost that project in, if you recall. Yeah. I've played Majora's Mask twice in my lifetime.
Ocarina of Time, Super Metroid 64, and Super Mario 64 and Super Metroid in one sitting. What?
Okay,
no.
Okay, first of all,
this needs to comfortably fit in
I think he's making a joke about doing all in one sitting. But here's the thing, and the reason why I kind of like I was like really into the idea of doing Majora's Mask is because of the unique nature of that game allows for maybe some cool ideas. Like I was like maybe we should have like kind of like a when you. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You have the ability to like phone a friend, right? But we all get one time where we can choose one of our competitors and force them to play the Song of Time to reset the time at a moment of our choosing.
I like that.
Like that kind of stuff
is cruel.
Is cruel and unusual, but like that's what makes for compelling like television. You know what I mean? Like that would be cool. I think we've already eliminated this as a possibility, but those are the kinds of ideas that I'm looking for here that I think would be really cool to introduce. That's just an example.
It's a good idea. It's cruel, and I don't want to play that game. But that's just me, That's just me.
You're right, but Nolan's also correct. We have done Zelda before. We've done Mario before.
Also, you got to remember we've done many Project M's as well. So that kind of takes other very nostalgic games off the table,
like Super Metroid.
It's like Super Metroid, like Super Mario World, Resident Evil 2.
Well, I mean, not necessarily
like Metal Gear Solid.
It depends on who's running it.
But like,
I disagree.
What?
We're all going to be
what do you mean?
Doing this. The thing is, we two people have done Resident Evil 2. Two people have done Super Metroid. What was the other one they yelled at? Metal Gear Solid.
And we've already done them.
Yeah. But for example, I did with Carlos Super Mario World. Yeah. Which, by the way, I think he scammed me at the.
It's Carlos.
I would not be surprised.
It is Carlos here that we're talking about. Another idea that we have thrown out there, and I don't think is off the table yet, is haven't we mentioned Metroid Prime as a possibility?
That game we can't do Metroid Prime.
It's not a short game.
All right, tell us why.
I'll tell you why. One, that game is it's not a short game. And it can be very challenging. Like the last couple bosses, several bosses in that game are very, very challenging. And I'm talking like I just can't do it. Challenging, right? And also you have the artifact hunt at the end of the game. That's just not a fun game to race.
All right, fair enough. I just know it came up in a conversation. I couldn't remember for certain if that's one that we had eliminated yet.
Mm-hmm. Like we could be in a situation where someone's like, I can't beat Meta Ridley or I can't beat Metroid Prime. Like this shouldn't be a game where we have to slam our head against a wall
but again,
to finish.
Again, this is also where Chris Davis's idea comes into play, where I think maybe this shouldn't necessarily be a whoever crosses the finish line first. This should be who found the most gets this many points, or who kind of thing. Like
the artifact hunt, just it's the worst part of that game, and it's the Triforce quest of Metroid.
Sure.
For the same reason I wouldn't want to do Wind Waker.
Right. Yeah. Wind Waker's you'd be a lot of people sailing around a big open ocean trying to figure where the fuck to go.
Yeah. Shadow of the Colossus is not a bad.
The reason I wouldn't want to do Wind Waker is just the fact that I want to do a different genre, or a different series. A different series.
And someone in chat suggested Shadow of the Colossus, and while I think that structure lends itself very well to Project M, it's not a particularly long game, especially when everyone in the room has played it and finished it multiple times.
Yeah,
I think we could all probably get through that game in like 10 hours, maybe.
Well, 10 hours is not too short. And we have floated the idea of doing multiple games, or like kind of a mid-game game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But like Shadow of the Colossus is not a mid-game game.
I pitched like a 2-day Project M marathon of Final Fantasy VII. And I know that's fucking crazy, right?
Yes.
It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's Final Fantasy VII.
It is topical.
but it is topical.
Yes.
The Final Fantasy VII remake comes out. Honestly, right now, it's a handful of months. It's a few months. It's several months away. We will be playing the full remake of that full game.
Okay.
Except we won't. We will just be playing Midgar, right? So I floated this idea of having maybe kind of a mid-race break.
We can call it a stretch goal for lack of a better term.
Stretch goal, maybe like a donation stretch goal.
I mean, I'm hoping
something where we have to race through the Midgar section of the original Final Fantasy VII.
I'm going to be honest. I do, and assuming everybody likes this idea because I think it worked out really well the first time. You know, I think we should. I like the idea of raising money for a charity again. Because that usually goes hand in hand. It made
fuck
for some
the children.
It made some really.
I'm just kidding.
It made for some really incredible, fun moments during that last Project M. Like incredible moments.
Yeah, I agree.
On the donation on the stream. But yeah, like if we hit a certain number of donations, and all of a sudden, boom, we stop what we're doing on whatever game we're playing, and then we race through Midgar.
As long as it's manageable and
so, how long does it take to get through Midgar in
Midgar? I think you can bust through it in less than 5 hours.
Less than 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we would want to pick a game, like a base game that was like 15-ish hours, maybe.
No, shorter. Like, look, we also we have to realize we can't. I don't think we can rely on how long to beat, because a lot of those, especially for older games, are sort of the quicker playthroughs, because the people who are posting times have probably played through it a million times,
probably,
and they're not realistic times for people who are maybe playing through it for the first time.
Dude, I've played Final Fantasy VII once.
Okay, but like I said,
I mean, here's the thing: when was the last time any one of us played Final Fantasy VII? So like, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII in a long time.
Just Midgar.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that when you first played the game, it seemed like way more expansive than it really was.
Mm-hmm.
Like in reality, Midgar is like 10% of that game.
Yeah.
True.
And Final Fantasy VII, especially if you're not doing what is a ton of optional shit in that game, it's only like a 30 to 40 hour RPG.
Sure.
We're not going to be killing Ruby Weapon or anything, right?
It would literally just be a race to the moment you step foot outside.
If you're racing through Midgar, you're going to be skipping through dialogue, right?
See, the thing is, how fun would that be for us as people playing the game?
Everyone knows Final Fantasy VII. That's
Dude,
the thing, though.
It's
super nostalgic. But I'm saying, for the viewers, they'll know exactly where everyone is.
Will they?
At any given time.
I mean, I feel like people have been
someone's going to eat shit to like the fucking hell house. What are those things called? Like the big robot houses?
I don't remember.
In the slums?
I feel like people in chat right now are being very quiet.
Brad, the thing is, you're talking about stuff in that game I don't even remember. And I'd like to think I'm a pretty well-versed gamer. And I think plenty of our community members, while being fans of Final Fantasy VII, might not remember all those details.
Sure. Here's the thing about Midgar. It's very linear. The only thing that's like somewhat open-ended is Wall Market, but that's mostly like optional.
I believe it's pronounced Walmart.
That's mostly optional shit, right? Where it is that required side quest where you can get more materials to dress up Cloud as more of a woman, so that you're more successful in your goal of
which tied into my idea for the point system, to where if you have certain objectives, like instead of having to just race from point A to point B to reach the end of Midgar, you could like maybe if you dress Cloud up all the way, or if when you're assaulting the Shinra headquarters, maybe you do the assault for more points instead of going up the stairs for the quiet entrance. It's various things like that.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Introduce a lot of
they would.
It's okay.
They would come back. They would, if you knew the rules up front.
The thing is, it's linear and it's not difficult. So even if you don't remember, it's
bonus points for not fucking up the Reno barrel segment. That's funny.
Actually, yeah, that was one of the things I thought about.
I mean, first of all, I'm not opposed.
Do you remember Eris Nolan? She dies.
I do remember that.
I'm not opposed to racing through Midgar.
The only reason I think it's kind of cool is this. Remember, this is going to be in December. It's like super relevant, right?
Sure.
It could be like a refresher before everybody plays the fucking thing in March, right?
Right.
It's true.
And if we did Shadow of the Colossus, would it be okay? So, all right, I'm putting Final Fantasy VII Midgar down as a possible stretch goal, quote unquote.
Okay.
We mentioned Shadow of the Colossus. If we did that in conjunction with Midgar, that might be the kind of the perfect length. I'm not sure. So we played. So first of all, would it be the original Shadow of the Colossus or the remake?
No, we'll do the remake. Just because it'll look nicer on the stream when you have 4.
And so there are 21 or no 16 Colossus.
17.
Yeah.
16.
16.
16.
Yeah, there's 16. And we're not worried that we would get through that too fast.
We would get through it pretty quick.
I don't know. I mean, it's
because I remember how to do the first. Everyone remembers how to do those first 3 like that. Like within the first hour, 3 of them would be done.
I remember all of them, but there's a couple of them some of them are pretty puzzle-like, right? Where if you've never played it before, you could get stuck. But everyone's played it, right?
I beat it in about 8 to 10 hours on my. And that was my first play of it at all. The remake.
So that might make for a pretty short.
I have an alternative and popular pitch.
Okay.
This would be a fun one that we could all get through. Not super long, but super good and long enough.
That's what she said.
Resident Evil 4.
Okay, that was the next one I was actually going to bring up.
Resident Evil 4.
And that
4 is a great game. Don't get me wrong, but
Resident Evil 4 is, I think,
Chris Davis doesn't like Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4, I think, might be the only one that would be good, that would be conducive to a actual full
that
blown
should be
Project
dedicated its own project, like Project M4 on it.
That's what we're
That's what
doing.
he's talking
That's
about.
what we're doing. But the thing is, it's long enough that it would be justifiable and work for a full blown Project M.
Honestly, it's the only Resident Evil I do a Project M for at this point.
I know what I'm trying to get out though is that it's the only Resident Evil that is popular enough and recognizable enough and kind of the right length and the most fun to play, I guess, from moment to moment, that it would fit nicely in a Project M, while also allowing maybe us the time to do a side game like going through Midgar from Final Fantasy Saturn or something. Because we could probably all get through. We've all played Resident Evil 4, right?
Correct.
Has Crispy played Resident Evil 4?
I'm fairly certain, but not 100%.
But Resident Evil 4, wait,
it's another linear one though.
It is a pretty linear game.
Yeah, but we could get through that, and then that would still leave enough time for us to race through Midgar.
Maybe. I mean, it's not a short game.
Correct. No, it's definitely not short. I would say it's probably
15 hours.
Yeah, at least 15.
I mean, you could also consider things like we could do the race through Midgar, but we could also put a cap on it as far as whoever gets farthest through Midgar in a 3 hour time window, whatever.
I feel like getting to that motorcycle sequence is getting out of Midgar is a thing, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna do it, we got to do it. If we're not gonna do it, let's not do it.
All right. Well, I've written it down, but I think Resident Evil 4. How do y'all feel about Resident Evil 4 as an option?
I would be interested.
I'd put it on the short list for sure. Also, if you're in chat and you're listening right now, even if you're a lurker, we want your input on this stuff because we've been kind of we've been kind of struggling to come to any conclusion.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
We want the perfect game for you guys.
We've been talking about this for months, for sure.
Longer. We've been talking about what we're going to do for our next project for over
years. Yeah. Like I think there's been 2 E3s where we've sat in the airport on the way back talking about so what should our next project then be?
So there was an idea that we had that
there
seemed super relevant at the time, but a certain game got delayed.
Okay. You're gonna have to remind me.
Doom.
Okay,
and
yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure I poo-pooed on that.
So
we poo-pooed on Doom?
We talked about... I mean, that's not entirely surprising. Not everybody here is... I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't played to completion, the original Doom, but, we talked about doing Doom 1 and 2 back-to-back, and while I think that's not a bad idea,
that's a lot of Doom.
Yeah, it's a lot of Doom. And Doom 1 is short. If you did just Doom 2, and this one is kind of like Doom 2 10. I mean, this new one, right, is kind of, Hell on Earth, right? Well, what is this new one called?
Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. This one is somewhat inspired by
Doom 2.
Doom 2. The thing about Doom is it's not super long. Doom 2 is a little bit longer. It's a lot of optional shit, right? So just getting to the end of a level is not that hard.
I will just say
it's not like we're gonna be looking for secrets and stuff.
I mean, there are some levels much later in the game that are
I will say this. I feel like
it could be a little difficult.
Well, I'm not opposed to the idea. I think I'm a little less excited about the prospect of doing Doom for a full blown Project M. I'm not opposed. Like now that Doom Eternal's been delayed, maybe we could do like a mini Project M early next year, like where 2 people race. Because like Nolan doesn't seem very interested in it. So like maybe you and I, Brad, or you and Chris Davis, or
I'm
whatever,
fine with that.
could do a mini Project M. So I'd say let's go ahead and eliminate. Doom
So is this
for now.
his veto?
I think that's Nolan's veto.
Yes.
Everybody gets one.
Everyone gets a
hard
veto.
veto. Was there any other major ideas we had discussed that we haven't talked about here yet? I think
we hadn't discussed like
Here, get
like
your
one of the concepts.
your
What?
mic's a little far from
yeah.
me.
You're
Like right here.
I know, but can you not hear yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear myself. I don't know why. I've
Let
been
me
sounding for hours.
let me try reseating.
It's just not tilted to you.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sorry, what were you saying, Brad?
What was I saying?
I said
Symphony of the Night. What about that?
Ooh,
No.
that's not a short one.
I've never played it.
No.
I've
Symphony of the
never
Night's not
played
that
it
long.
before. I don't want that to be my first time playing it. You want to talk about me hating a game? Like I've already done that once with Link to the Past. Don't make me do it with Symphony of the Night.
But you know, I would be a little more sympathetic if I ever actually thought you were going to play that fucking game. Boom.
But you also that's in your top 10 games of all time. Like
Yeah.
you know that game like the back of your fucking hand.
True, but I
Yeah.
mean, we all
That-
have our
yeah.
own fucking advantages.
That would
we
be a
were
race.
considering Majora's Mask, and this motherfucker's got every mask. I've never even finished it.
But I did that once when it first came out.
Yeah,
in
was
2000.
Didn't you also play it when it got remade on 3DS?
I
You did?
played the first dungeon through the first dungeon. I never finished it.
Okay.
In fact, I completely forgot that existed until you just mentioned it.
No, you didn't.
Why would you forget that existed?
I don't know because I haven't thought about it in forever. But yeah, I didn't finish it. I played through the first dungeon. That was it.
Yeah. Well, like I was talking about, like we haven't discussed.
It does
like,
need to be It does need to be an even playing field for it to be
Yeah.
legit. Like,
Are we gonna have an even playing field though?
I mean, we've done it twice before with an fairly even playing field.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I mean, it is tricky. That's why there's a lot of conversation to be had. Because it's very tricky to narrow down and find something that fits all the criteria. I think what we have, like, I feel like Resident Evil 4 and Shadow of the Colossus are on the short list right now.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot. The thing is with Shadow of the Colossus, even if you know how to do it, there's a lot of room for fucking up at like intense moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
lots of ample opportunities for that to
Good
go
race
wrong.
game.
I would feel better about doing Resident Evil 4 if like Resident Evil 8 was about to come out.
Yeah, it might. Resident Evil does feel a little stale right now.
But it's classic.
It is a class.
By the way,
All these
don't
are
get me
fucking
wrong.
classic.
We have a bunch of ideas we haven't mentioned from our. You want me to start going through ideas from our supporters?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
These are going to be ideas that were submitted to you guys by you guys in Discord. If you're a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, I appreciate the suggestions. I also want to say, don't be offended if we veto your idea, even if it's an immediate veto. I'm going to read everyone's idea. That seems like even a possibility. But don't be offended if we just say, not happening. So, Leviathan is our first suggestion. He says,
Not happening.
Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Maybe 6 to 10 hours and definitely still holds up. I think it's maybe a little short. And maybe not maybe not iconic enough. You know what I mean? Like maybe not.
Hey, don't overestimate the ability of us.
No. I'm just saying, there also needs to be that certain level of familiarity with the audience, right? They're watching.
I saw that look, Nolan.
What? What look?
You gave me the look like, bitch, I would destroy that game.
I've never played Prince of Persia. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I've never played a Prince of Persia game.
Really?
Correct.
Oh.
Well, then maybe we would have an even playing field.
Like, but when we want to play,
Oh, the combat in that game sucks, though, dude.
It does.
Like, towards the end, you're just, like, wailing on dudes for, like, 10 minutes straight.
Really?
Oh,
well, what about
God.
like the Forgotten Sands or the Prince of Persia Assassinate game?
I think the only way it would work. I mean, the thing is, like, there's a lot of.
No, not the fucking
Remake.
stupid one where you get caught every time you fall. No.
Yeah.
Like that game. But it's not good for Project. The thing is, like,
No,
Project M, whatever we end up doing, I think there has to be a certain level of, like,
Big and nostalgic.
big and nostalgic.
Sands of Time would be the only Prince
Yeah.
of Persia game that I would say would fly for this.
I do agree.
And I don't think it's a terrible idea. It's just it's a super dead series and maybe not very relevant anymore, which is sad.
Yeah.
What about BioShock?
That's a 15 to 20 hour game.
Is it the first one? 15
Yeah.
to 20 hours.
It's not short. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
you can do
definitely
a
not
lot of
short.
exploring.
Like there's a lot of optional. Shit
I mean,
in
I
there,
do
but,
love that
core
game.
progression.
I do love the shit out of that game. I just feel like
Super doesn't feel relevant.
I feel like it's like 10 to 12 hours, but maybe I'm just misremembering.
I feel like I don't know. I mean, how long do we want this to be?
I mean, I think we should. I think it'd be nice to like aim for 20 hours. Like, you know, you want it to feel like it's a marathon. You want it to feel like
You ain't wrong.
We should be putting in a certain amount of effort. Like, we should be tired by the time this is over.
I don't think BioShock's a 10-hour game though.
I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong.
No, I mean, yeah.
Somebody go to how long to beat.
Yeah, but see, that's a tough one because again, that game could probably be beaten a lot.
And here's the thing: we know not everybody's going to sit there and watch the event for 20 hours.
Correct.
But it's like the thing that was great about Super Mario 64 is
we all want to blow our brains out.
You can watch for a couple hours, go do something else, come back a few hours later, and be like, "All right, where is everybody?" And you can immediately see how many stars.
And that's what I was saying. That's why I like the concept of that because it doesn't matter where Mario is, which painting you're in, where you're at. All that matters is you have a physical counter of how close you are to your goal. And that, yes, I did like that.
And
about
that
that
is
game.
also very rare. So maybe we'll find another one. Let's keep going.
Half-Life 2?
I'm gonna keep going.
I like Half-Life.
Half-Life 2 is not.
Half-Life 2 is longer than BioShock for sure.
Skylander says main story and BioShock says 12 hours according to how long.
What about how long to beat on Half-Life 2? Because I feel like that is...
And if,
we could summon Half-Life 3 with our Project M.
If we did Half-Life 2, we would probably... what if we did Half-Life 2 plus Episode 1 and 2?
Okay. That's getting long.
Well, just saying though, if we
long.
played Half-Life 2
Is not
alone,
short.
like if we went with that point system, like there are so many things you can do in that game.
It's true. I mean, the thing is, whatever we end up picking, we can probably find some really interesting.
Like, can you imagine, for example, if we like awarded extra bonus points for like crossing the sand traps without ever, getting caught by the antlions?
But who's keeping track of that?
Chris Davis is.
I will keep track of that. That will
Chris
be my
Davis
job.
But you're keeping track of 4 people playing the game.
I can do that.
Chris Davis is our official shoutcaster, and he's got to keep track of all this.
I think
junk.
we got to keep.
I was literally shoutcasting last time.
I know, and it was great. I loved it.
All right. I mean,
all I know is we need a better way to show the stream.
All right, next.
Well, we will.
Next suggestion from Distrotor. I think co-op would be the way to go with this. Like, maybe have multiple smaller games and have different co-op partners race in each one. He doesn't mention a specific game, but like a co-op one. So directly following his suggestion, I have Zerby, who made a recommendation. This one might be a bit of a stretch. I don't know. But what if we did a co-op 2 teams through Halo? Or he even says Halo Trilogy.
That'd be
Halo
good.
Trilogy. No, jeez.
That would be...
not all 3 games. No.
Which ones though?
One.
Well, I think you have to do Halo 1.
Oh God, the library though. Halo doesn't feel very relevant anymore. No one cares about it.
I've never played a Halo game besides.
See, chat, you need to understand
ODST.
something that you don't get on the audio when you're doing the podcast here. When he says anything Xbox related, his eyes automatically turn towards me.
What?
And he gets this slight grin.
And what does that say about you?
And
that says you think I'm a fucking Xbot and you just like to antagonize me.
And bitch,
No, it's fine.
I care about Halo.
I played most Halo games. I just didn't play the non-Bungie ones because
Don't you finish that sentence.
they suck.
They don't suck.
They don't suck.
They don't suck.
The people that make them suck.
No.
No.
They're just different.
They're not great.
They're just different.
Halo 5 was really good.
But Halo, again, is not...
But Halo.
Halo is an example of a game that is nostalgic and popular enough to where I think people might be into it. But I would say like the first Halo, maybe the second Halo, maybe like the first 2 Halos.
Here's the tricky thing, though. Shooters, man. We are maybe not like most other groups of podcasters or gamers, whatever. I don't think I think we're very split. I think on our opinion towards like shooters. Not many of us like. Chris Davis plays a lot of shooters. Who's the next? Who plays
Crispy?
Yeah, but like.
But what are you trying to get? What are you getting?
I'm just saying, like.
You're gonna
we talk about
suck?
shooters, and maybe not all of us here will be excited if what we ended up playing was a shooter, especially for like 15 hours.
What do you mean though? I mean, we're talking Half-Life and Halo. I'm not talking about some obscure shooter. These are games I mean, I'm not vetoing Halo. I think Halo would be interesting. Halo's got issues though. We're all gonna get lost.
I mean, but
Lost.
In Halo 1? Absolutely. Lost.
What are you talking
Everything
about?
looks the same. You get turned around. You're like, where the fuck am I going? Have you never heard of the library?
Yes, I've played through the library so many fucking times.
All right, well, they're not even
I
playing
don't know
field.
what you're referring
Not
to.
an evil playing or evil playing field, even playing field.
Well, he's not going to be racing anyways.
On the topic
Oh,
of
good point.
co-op things that we could do, I think Resident Evil 5 would actually be pretty good.
But like, I've recently replayed Resident Evil 5.
I've never played 5, so
I've replayed it with you, Nolan.
5 is too short. I feel like the only Resident Evil long enough is 4 or 6, but I'd rather.
We're not doing
die.
6.
Somebody suggested do 6 and everyone pick a different campaign.
No, no.
But, guys, think about this. I played through the Leon campaign in Resident Evil 6 by myself, and I hated it, and I put it down. And then Nolan was playing 5 with me, and we started playing 6. Played through the same campaign with Nolan with the intention of playing all of them. We didn't even finish that first campaign. It was the same one that I started the first time, and I was like, I'm done. Like, we both decided
I
we
was
were done.
willing to still go. It was just more about timing got difficult.
Oh, man. I
Left
feel...
4 Dead co-op. Whoa, what if this wasn't competitive? What if it was a cooperative project? And when we played through Left 4 Dead 1 and Left 4 Dead 2.
But how long does that take?
That would be pretty short. I think.
Yeah, those games aren't super long.
I mean, that you're assuming that we're fucking good at Left 4 Dead, and we're not.
Each campaign of Left 4 Dead is maybe an hour.
But also, if we did a co-op experience like that, how would you determine who the winner is?
Fist fight at the end.
Oh, maybe we go through Left 4 Dead. The points-based system is based on how each of us do in Left 4 Dead, and that will influence kind of like starting parameters for racing through the shorter thing afterwards, right? So you see what I'm saying?
No.
We
I'll
all
be
played
honest.
through Left 4 Dead together. We say, well, Crispy got taken down by a hunter like 8 times. Well, it only
Obviously.
happened like 5 times to Nolan. So Nolan is maybe handicapped, or maybe he has a bonus when we start the Resident Evil game afterwards, or some shit like that. You know,
It also
like,
gives you stars after you get to a safe house, according to Skyliner.
gives you stars based on what, like how many kills? Or
I
whatever?
mean, it's probably just based on kills and accuracy and all the usual junk, right? And maybe the
Probably.
number of times you got taken down. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I like I would definitely. I want to mix it up for this project, then, regardless.
stats.
Stats. I want to mix it up regardless. So maybe the idea of doing it completely co-op is not a bad idea.
What else?
I have some other ideas here. I'm
Let's hear 'em, let's
going to
hear 'em.
make note real quick of Left 4 Dead just because we talked about it and all.
Again, chat lurkers, we want your input, please. It doesn't have to be super old. If it's popular enough and dope enough, you know,
a measurable stat. Okay.
like FTL.
All right,
no one leaves until they beat an FTL campaign.
Oh, fuck that.
For the record, Green Goddamn does suggest Metroid Prime, but we've already eliminated that. George chimed in with Resident Evil 4. There's a vote for Resident Evil 4. Fausk says...
Ultima Inferno brings up a Batman Arkham game. If we get a Batman announcement before December, that might be relevant. The question is, which one do we do?
City.
City's the only one long enough, right? Maybe, or Night's long enough, but
That's long enough.
we don't want to do Night. City's Arkham is Arkham's short.
Yeah.
How long is City?
You mean Asylum is short.
Asylum is short. Sorry. How long is City?
I don't know. While we're waiting on that, Fausk also chimed in with Metroid as an idea. We had done Super Metroid already, and we've already eliminated Metroid Prime as a possibility. So I think that one's probably out.
And, you know what? I don't think the Batman games are exciting enough. to watch.
Umos says, I recommend playing Inside as a game for the marathon. I think that would be
That's
more...
a short one.
That'd
Too
be
short.
appropriate for like a stretch goal kind of
It's too
thing.
short. The Arkham City. It's too dark. It's too samey. Too much combat. I don't know.
Let's see.
I like Half-Life
Self-Tank
2.
throws Hitman into the pack here, and that could be interesting. But as someone
Which
who's
Hitman? The new one?
Maybe Hitman.
Like
the two latest Hitman games.
The problem with that is that's very...
Yeah,
I don't know
playing
the
it a
best-
quick way might be kind of lame. To
Yeah,
watch.
that's what I'm gonna say. Like you can do. The Hitman's fun when you're not completing a level in 30 seconds. It's more fun when you're kind of dicking around in the world and doing this and being disguises and all this stuff. I don't think that would be good for a Project M.
Like if we wanted to go ape shit with a point system, that would be a
good one for sure. Yeah.
But yeah,
that would be a good like break game, you know?
Yeah.
Like every hour we have to get through a level of Hitman or some shit like that, or not that much, but
Mogar says do a horror game while hooked up to heart rate monitors, and our heart rate monitors affect our score or something. That would be kind of fun. Self-tank.
Should we bring up that one 2019 game we've considered?
Oh, so we've considered as a possibility as doing the stretch goal.
Surprise stretch goal,
which is
a 2019 game that none of us have played. We'd all be on even playing field.
Untitled Goose Game.
What do y'all think? Chat? What do you think?
We need y'all's
I
live
love the idea. That was my proposal.
We know what you feel.
You know, but they don't know. I proposed
know.
a triathlon where we do Brad's idea of Final Fantasy VII Midgar. Second game, we do Untitled Goose Game. And then third game, we do the first couple episodes of Doom. And I think that's the perfect length.
Of Doom?
Oh, Doom.
Yeah, Doom 1.
Doom's been vetoed.
It hasn't been vetoed.
Yes, it has.
We just kind of... Oh, yeah, you're right. No one vetoed
Well,
it.
we could also do Doom 2016.
Nah, that's...
DOOM asterisk has been vetoed.
I think 2016 Doom is too... Nah.
What are you talking about?
I mean,
I
to
like
be
the
clear,
fucking game.
to be clear, it seems like people like the idea of doing that as like a stretch game.
No. Not Minecraft.
What could we do with Minecraft?
Nothing.
Well, technically, you can do anything.
Like if you wanted to say get to the Nether, then yeah, sure, you could do that. But like with the randomized
First person
seeds,
to
it had to
dig
be
to
the
China?
exact same seed.
All right, we still got more suggestions here. Let's see. Nannerpuss recommends Banjo-Kazooie, which is...
That's not a
That's
bad
not bad.
idea.
It's
I mean,
very-
that game's
it's-
pretty meaty, though.
It's very
That's
Mario
what she said.
64, but it's also maybe it's been a while, long enough since any of us have played it that it would take us a little while.
Can someone how long to beat Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, that one might be that one might not be a bad idea.
It's pretty meaty. And then that stupid quiz at the end, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And the final boss sucks.
But hey, there's gonna be like caveats to almost all of these.
How long
suggestions.
to beat Banjo-Kazooie? 11 hours.
What about
11
Banjo-Tooie?
But that game is not actually... Banjo-Kazooie's not 11 hours. I'm telling you, it's longer than that.
Yeah, especially if...
I think maybe you're just remembering it incorrectly.
Or maybe I'm remembering me trying to get everything.
Probably. No, it did say Completionist was longer. Banjo-Tooie is 16 hours.
But Banjo-Tooie has too many like
Banjo-Kazooie, it says
mini games and stuff.
It says main plus extras 14.
And we could probably look deeper into like what we think would be the proper like what you would have to accomplish to make Banjo-Kazooie like to win that race. You know what I mean? Like we could say you would have to do this many jiggies and all that stuff.
You know, if we're gonna be doing shit in between, then an 11-hour game is not a problem. You know, if we're doing Banjo-Kazooie and fucking Midgard, that's a fucking day, man. You know what I mean?
You're right. Do we like the idea of maybe Banjo-Kazooie? Should I add that to the short
It
list?
could be on the short
What
list.
is what is the short list so far?
So Shadow of the Colossus,
Okay.
Resident Evil 4,
Okay.
Left 4 Dead Co-op.
Okay. Wait, did you put
I'm just making
Did you not put Half-Life 2 on the short list? I like the idea.
Okay,
Right?
I'll add it. It's the short list is just not very short anymore.
Well,
Half-Life 2 should be on the short
All right,
list.
Half-Life
so.
2, Banjo-Kazooie, Half-Life 2,
it's a good length.
Untitled Goose Game as the stretch goal, Left 4 Dead Co-op, Final Fantasy VII Midgar as a stretch goal, Shadow of the Colossus.
The last.
Someone in chat suggests Super Mario Galaxy, but we've already done a Mario game. We've already done a
no
Mario
We're trying
game.
to.
We want to mix it up.
Don't get me wrong. I've thought about many old school games we could do, like Paper Mario, some shit like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? But we're trying to avoid Mario just because it's been done.
Yeah, we want this to feel like a distinct event.
Souls games are too long.
Yeah, and they're frustrating as hell.
All right,
Yeah,
I gotta,
and we don't want anything with like too many giant barriers keeping somebody from advancing just because it's too difficult. You know, we don't want that.
As a smaller game, what about COD 4?
I don't think
Modern
anybody here.
Warfare.
I don't think enough people here would be enthused about
Wait,
that.
hold on. getting a message from Crispy, he vetoes.
I'm looking up like kind of some old school games like PS1 and 64 era games, and I was like, oh, what about that one? And I looked it up, and the How Long to Beat's 30 hours.
Whoa.
Donkey Kong 64.
No!
Was
no!
apparently 30
I don't wanna play-
hours.
That game sucks!
What about Donkey Kong Country 2?
Ooh, that's too hard. It's too hard.
Guys,
Yeah,
I got
that's
other
a
ideas
hard
here. Self Tank suggests Portal 1 and 2.
That's not bad. But I mean,
Think about that. Like
I would not be opposed to that.
I haven't played any Portal games since the release of 2. So like
I agree with you there. I
don't remember the solutions to almost
I played
any
Portal
of
2
those.
with Bernadette when it came out, and I have not played Portal since.
Oh,
here's an argument against, though.
Okay.
Watching 4 different people play Portal is just going to be like a jumble of... I mean, it could be hard enough to watch one person stream Portal when people are flying through portals all over the place. Trying to follow 4 people play that game might just be...
all of our screens would look pretty much the same no matter what. Because
It is pretty same.
but if you want to do like a co-op experience, Portal 2 co-op,
Co-op race.
that would be nuts.
Yeah.
I will say
But
this.
I mean, once you figured out those puzzles... Although I don't remember them.
Yeah, you're not going to remember it.
I'm gonna
Some
be
of the
hon-
co-op puzzles are fucking
They are
hard.
pretty tough.
I think Portal might be another.
Portal 1 is a good break.
Yes.
I think Portal.
You can beat that game pretty quick.
Yeah, a few hours.
So
couple
maybe
hours.
Portal's a
Yeah.
stretch goal option.
Yeah. I think Portal would be a good... Everyone stop what they're doing
And play some
and
fucking
finish Portal.
I mean, I was also gonna say Portal might be another good option for like a mini project M. But yeah, I think that's not a bad idea.
That's too short, though.
Yeah, it's like a 2-hour game.
I mean, Portal 1 plus 2.
3 hours.
I mean, I like the idea of doing Portal as a stretch goal. So
What
okay.
about...
Hold on, I got more suggestions.
Bayonetta?
Don't think that's iconic enough. Maybe.
if Bayonetta 3 was about to come out,
How
yes.
dare you?
I'm sorry.
You fucking asshole.
What about
Actually-
Dirge of Cerberus?
Actually, I think we kind of reached the end here of our suggestions. Kenton says Project M where you race like 5 small games, regardless of how old they are.
So I want to hear from chat right now. Again, everybody, lurkers, everyone. Do you think it's like more exciting to do one big game, or do you like the idea of smaller games? God Hand's too hard.
God Hand is too much. What about Okami?
Okami's way too long.
I know.
My
It's
God.
like a 40-hour game.
Yeah.
Dude, that was one of those games that I loved, but like 45 hours into that game, I was like, I can't believe this game is still going. Holy shit.
What about Metal Gear Solid 3?
We've done a Metal Gear Solid as a mini
Also,
project,
Metal
though.
Gear Solid 3 is long.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 is not
I
short.
mean, that'd be a good game for a singular Project M. I'm just saying.
The thing is, I don't necessarily. I see some people in chat saying one big game as opposed to a bunch of short ones. I like the idea of doing one big game but introducing like a stretch goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a break, so that it just breaks up the action for a bit,
Yeah.
changes the what's going on screen,
I'm
and
fine
then
with
getting
that.
back to one focus. So if we did like Banjo-Kazooie, stop, beat Portal, then back to Banjo-Kazooie, something like that.
Or Shadow of the Colossus, boom, you hit the 10th Colossus, Goose Game. Or, no, I think the interrupting game should be everybody stops at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you
no,
don't
yeah.
you don't pick up until you finish.
Correct. Yeah. That it's a pause. After X number of hours is when we do it. Because if you do it when someone gets to a certain point, then everyone's kind of doing something different. You want everyone doing the same.
I would tie it
stuff.
to the number of hours, or like I said, if we were doing donations for like charity, say if we reach a certain amount of donations.
How
whatever,
long does it
stop.
take to beat Grand Theft Auto 3?
All right. All right. Do y'all want to hear the short list?
What?
That's probably not as long as you think.
Yeah.
That's probably like a 25-30 hour game.
What are we, punk ass bitches? Come on.
That game has not aged well. No offense.
Neither of you.
What would we even play it on?
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Grand Theft Auto 3, 16 and a half hours.
Really?
Booyah.
That's
Booyah.
That's kind of surprising to me.
all right.
God, it'd be so maddening, man.
I think
Fuck that game.
I think we have our
Fucking so
short
hard.
list, so we can move on. Are you ready? Are we good? I think
I'm still looking at stuff. I'm trying to find.
I'm just going to throw this out there.
What about slightly more recent?
like
I don't want to hear from us. I want to hear from chat. Chat's not throwing out enough ideas.
There's a
No
lot of
one
ideas.
said what they think about Midgar or like any of these other random shits.
People also please get in touch with us in Discord. Leave us a comment on the post for this episode. Whatever. We want to hear your thoughts. Like I said, we're not going to come up with a final decision tonight.
Ooh, you know what a good breaking mid game could be?
What?
Katamari Damacy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Write it down.
Ooh.
And maybe,
Didn't that recently come out on Switch?
Yeah,
so.
the reroll remake. Yeah.
Ooh.
And if
But then we'd also have to buy 4 copies. I mean, I'm not saying we can't, but
Brucey has a good point. It says it's just got to be something that you guys, as in us, are into, and we make it dope. So yeah, I think the important thing is we all agree on something that excites us.
what about Persona 3?
Fuck off.
I think we
Fuck
can all
off.
agree that Trials is a bad idea. No.
Be fun though. It's a good
There'd be screaming.
All right. Do y'all want to hear the short list that we've come up with?
What if everybody's break game is a game of their specialty or their choosing or like
What didn't someone say? Desert Bus.
No.
maybe
We need to move on. Can I read the
Okay.
short list so we can
Do
move
it.
on?
yeah.
All right. In consideration for the full, the focal game, the focal point, we have Shadow of the Colossus, Resident Evil 4, Banjo-Kazooie, and Half-Life 2. That's the short list for the full-blown focal game. The stretch goal, the short list is Final Fantasy VII Midgar,
Goose Game,
Portal,
Katamari.
Untitled Goose Game, and Katamari Damacy. So we have 4 on each.
Hey, I will say I brought up something in the channel in Discord a while back, and it didn't get brought up tonight.
What is it?
The Last of Us.
No.
Fuck you.
I did just play that
No, that's
start
not
to
a-
finish.
It's topical. There's one about to come out.
It's not a good race game, and fuck you, Nolan.
And we'll play factions for 20 hours. God damn it.
The person with the most kills at the end wins.
Fuck.
All right. So, guys, if we didn't discuss, if you have an idea, like I said, we haven't made a final decision. That was just our current short list. If you have anything else you want to suggest or throw in here, we do have a room set up in Discord called Project M. If you are a supporter on Patreon or a subscriber on Twitch, you should have access to it. So just go to discord.gg/4player, drop your idea in there, ping any one of us, and we'll consider it. Hopefully we will have an announcement to make soon where we've decided on what it's going to be. But hopefully we can get that narrowed down pretty soon so we can start planning the official event, which should happen sometime in December. So, of course, thank you guys for humoring us.
You know,
What?
there was.
I was trying to call out what Haste had said.
What-
Because
what-
we brought something up. I can't think it might have been a question he asked or something, or a feedback a while back about, because he tests games or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and he was saying that he did respond. He was saying it's a locker system, so
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you don't get to take anything home. I guess
Gotcha.
it gets locked
Yeah,
up, and
we were talking about whether they have to bring their own systems or what that works.
yeah, so they I guess they lock up the system and you get it unlocked when you go to whatever.
Gotcha. All right. So again, if you have any more suggestions, Discord is the place to be. Let us know what you think, and hopefully we will have that narrowed down here pretty soon. But for now, Nolan, are you ready with questions?
Oh, I'm still looking up games, Nick.
Questions, Nolan.
Hold on.
Patreon questions.
Hold on. No, I mean I have them. Yeah. 26 hours. That's too long.
What were you looking at?
XCOM, Enemy Unknown.
Oh, Jesus.
That
No.
would be kind of
No.
interesting.
Let me go ahead and veto that. That's my veto.
I
Holy hell.
guess.
I have the questions right here, Nolan, if you
I
want
mean,
to
I have the questions up too. I'm just looking at games.
I know.
All right,
That
fine.
seems to be
fine,
the problem.
Fine. First, we have a new patron,
Ooh, shit.
Connor M.
Connor M.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you, Connor, for supporting us. We appreciate
You
it.
are our favorite patron this
It's
week.
absolute. Oh, this week. Okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
My
Yeah.
favorite one this week.
All right. Well, actually, technically, that honor goes to our supporter spotlight, White Fang.
He's my second favorite.
That's not how that works, but okay.
All right, so let's get to some questions from our patrons, our lovely patrons out there. First question this week comes from Captain Passion Man. Pick someone on the couch. Mortal Kombat style.
Pointed at Brian.
What's the most gruesome fatality you'd perform on that person? You can't pick existing fatalities throughout the entire Mortal Kombat series or come.
They've done
Oh, it says you
everything.
can pick or
Oh.
come up with your own.
Wait, so we can pick an existing fatality.
Well, here's the problem. I don't know any fatalities.
Can it be a babality?
I don't know what that means.
They turn into a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. You just turn them into a baby.
And then you like punt them or
no. No,
it's Mortal Kombat. That's not surprising.
You just turn them into a baby.
Yeah, that's it.
That's not very like gruesome or.
I like Zero's.
There's also friendships.
I like friendship.
I like Zero's bae-bality, like BAE-bality. Turn him into a bae.
Well, that's what I thought at first. I thought you say you like turn into a lady or something, and then like
no,
I don't know.
Nothing
Dimitri
like
from
that.
Darkstalkers or something.
So we're all in agreement about doing it to Brad, right? We all pointed to Brad. Oh Jesus! The thing is, you're asking.
I counter with my animality, turn into a massive bear and just fucking paw swipe off.
I do my Liu Kang animality. Is it called an animality? No.
Yes.
You're stealing my idea.
Yes.
In
real time, I'm stealing your idea.
You can't pick an animality.
I want to do my Liu Kang.
My fatality would be kill him with a chili dog.
I don't even.
That's been on the show before, Nick, and it's the most gruesome fatality.
You know what my favorite fatality is? It's the one from Killer Instinct. It's not a fatality at all. The one where Orca flashes the other player and their eyes bug out and I guess they die. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I
wish I was more familiar.
Basically, what I'm saying is I would show you my dick. I don't know what I'm saying.
Cue the scene from Ark of, Raise of the Lost Ark when they're opening the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, with the light?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Faces melting, screaming, pillars of salt.
The whole 9 yards. I think that's going to have to do for the...
All right, moving on. Next question from Ash. The 4Player podcast crew win a contest Sega has held to have Yakuza characters based off the cast. What is your fighting style, and more importantly, what is your back tattoo?
Drunken, what is it? Drunken
boxing?
Yeah, that'd be mine. My back tattoo. Oh man.
Well, my back tattoo would clearly be dick butt.
Dick butt.
But like in like an ancient like Japanese style.
Like what are those 17th century
What are those
style?
paintings called? There's a term for those.
Oh.
I don't think any of us here know them. Someone in chat will probably know what it is. But that style. We got some as gifts. Like remember like we got
Yeah, with like Zelda
yeah, like that. What would my fighting style
somebody
be?
help.
I don't know how to answer this question.
You don't know any fighting styles, Brad? You're the one who's played the most Yakuza. What's your back
is
tattoo?
Is that how it's?
My back tattoo would be a bear. My fighting style would be riding around on a scooter, taking pictures with my ghost camera. Sorry, I don't know how to answer this.
Is that a Yakuza thing?
No.
What? It's what? Chris Davis? Are you fucking kidding me?
All those references just went way over.
I don't know. Why is he even here?
That was before he showed up randomly.
That was very long ago.
I don't get it.
Give us back your 4-player license.
Your membership card's been revoked. You lose a corner
Fuck
on
you.
your 4-player card.
I'll take my camera and go home. Fuck you guys.
Don't take the camera.
Fighting style would be Taekwondo.
All right, Chris Davis.
Eddie Gordo, breakdance fighting.
Breakdance fighting.
Yeah,
that's Brad. That's
Majima. That's already in Yakuza though. But yeah.
No, fighting style, you do fucking Krav Maga.
Krav Maga.
That's designed to
moving
fucking
on. Next
kill
question
you.
from Thorax to Chris Davis.
Wow.
Just wondering, are you getting the Godzilla Criterion Collection and or the Ultraman series coming to Blu-ray?
Oh, I already pre-ordered the Criterion Collection for Godzilla.
I thought you were having financial issues, Chris Davis.
Yeah,
What do you think I am?
Yes, because I ordered the Godzilla collection. Oh my goodness. That's funny.
I pre-ordered it like back in August when it first came.
Back when I had money.
So. Back when I had money, yeah.
All right, moving on. Next question from one Mr. Boy. Do you think there will ever again be a Nintendo console that rivals its competitors on a hardware basis? Does it need to, and why or why not?
So is he asking if Nintendo will ever be on par with
will
PlayStation
Nintendo ever
Xbox?
not be gimmicky, essentially?
No,
no.
never.
I agree.
I don't think they need to though. I
I have been yelling at them for years because I think it would be helpful if they were.
I mean, the thing is, I felt like it was more necessary. Like, the thing is, their gimmicks, quote unquote, have never worked as well as I think they'd like them to until the Switch. I feel like the Switch's gimmick is enough of I would trade
Nick,
power.
I think the Wii was pretty fucking successful.
No, we're talking. I think let me make a distinction here between, financially successful for the company versus critical reception from like.
I love the fucking Wii.
You do. I mean, I'm okay. Never mind. I'm done.
How many Wii games did you play like after 2008?
After 2008,
the Wii was designed and sold like gangbusters, but it sold to a very different kind of market. Sure, we all picked up Wiis because we play Nintendo games, and of course, but like,
it sold like gangbusters for fucking Wii Sports.
No,
it sold to casual audiences.
Wii
like
Sports
crazy.
Came with every Wii, so if you bought a Wii, you just got Wii.
Yeah,
Sports.
but that's it came with its system seller.
So to back things up. My opinion as why Nintendo does this is because their consoles are always cheaper.
And by the way,
the fact that they are less powerful and more gimmicky means they are cheaper. So that means that people who are A, less gamer, they're less hardcore gamer, or B, parents who don't really know and they're just buying some, it's easier to spend $200 or $300 on a console than it is $600.
And again, I'm like, my approach to this question really is coming from more of a appealing to quote unquote core gamers. You know what I mean? People have always wanted Nintendo to compete with PlayStation and Xbox because they would look nicer, and they love Nintendo games. They want them to look nicer.
Sure.
But I would take a Nintendo Switch that I can play on the go or docked on my TV that's less powerful any day over just having a permanently docked system that looked as good as a PS4. The fact that I can pick my Switch up and take any one of my games with me everywhere I go is infinitely more valuable to me than how good this is. And not to mention, I think the games on the Switch look pretty good.
You can do that with PS4 games, right? They have remote play.
I know, but like it's that there's a whole lot of there's more hoops you get to jump through to make that.
Not really. You just download an app and then just play the game.
It is just not.
But it's easier to pick up a console that's docked and take it with you.
It's not the same level.
Why is it not as easy for me to pick up an iPad and then just fucking play my PS4 game?
I don't know what to tell you, dude, but I would never do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would also not do it, just because it is inherently less convenient than just taking the thing out of the box, putting it up, and then just picking it up and going.
I agree with you. It's one more step. And I understand.
And it is something that's worth doing, but like I feel like you're the only person I know that's even used that. So I could technically.
I don't think Sony's
point.
done a good job of advertising.
They definitely have not done
remote
that
play?
for sure.
Yeah. I did remote play yesterday.
What'd you play?
I do it all the time. Monster Hunter Iceborne. So like
shocker.
You can connect to like
maybe I should
iOS
try it.
devices,
iPhones, or
so like when Henry's watching some bullshit on TV, I don't necessarily fight monsters, but I'll do like a gathering quest or kind of fuck with my loadouts.
Simpler.
And
you're using your phone.
You can, or you can use
I use the
DualShock
PS4
4
controller.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try
That's just my screen.
I think it's worth trying.
That's just my screen.
If you've got a Bluetooth controller, like.
Yeah. I've even fought monsters with that. I mean, there's a little bit of a...
That's why Brad was asking if I had a phone mount.
Input lag, because... Yeah, for monsters.
The input lag is surprisingly not bad, though.
Yeah.
It is infinitely better than the Vita's remote play.
Yeah.
Or, no, sorry, not the Vita, the PlayStation TV. Because PlayStation TV had the ability to do that. But the lag from that was ridiculous.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on. One Mr. Boy had a follow-up question that I like. Nick, if you could reach out to him about that one.
Mr. Man.
He just wants to know if there's a difference between levels and tiers on Patreon.
Because he's having an issue with Patreon, so let's follow up with that on the show.
I'll follow up with you.
All right, from Totcamp.
Totcamp.
Would you rather lay in a coffin full of cockroaches for 5 minutes?
No.
What is this, Fear Factor?
The other one.
By the way, before you finish this question, I read this the other day. I legitimately would rather die than either one of these.
Well, Brad's already chosen option number 2.
I choose option number 2.
Or, for a month, have a spider in your bed every night when you try to go to sleep. You can't kill the spider if you find it.
I just wouldn't sleep in the bed.
The spider is wherever you were sleeping.
I sleep on the couch.
In the spider.
There'd be a spider on the couch then.
What kind of spider are we talking about?
All right, what kind of
Any spider? I don't fucking care. Any spider.
Like a daddy long legs, sure, that's
Fuck
fine.
daddy long legs, man. Those things scare the
spider
shit
might
out
not
of me.
do
anything.
I don't care. They look
All
horrifying.
right, wait, what's the first one again?
Lay in a coffin full of cockroaches for 5 minutes.
It'd be over in 5 minutes. Oh God.
How many cockroaches?
Like a lot?
At least 7.
Dude, have you ever been near one cockroach?
No more than 1,000.
Have you ever been near one cockroach and not wanted to crawl out of your skin? Like,
dude, I remember when I was like, I don't know.
Why are cockroaches so horrifying?
15, 16, I was at home at my parents' house. Obviously, that's where you live when you're 15. And I was like watching TV or something, and I felt something itch on my leg, and so I brushed it off, and it was a cockroach, and I was wearing shorts, and so I stood up real quick and started crawling up my shorts, and I was like, no. And thankfully I was able to knock it away before
called
it
up
got
your wiener.
anywhere.
What is?
Hey, you know that reminds me of?
How come,
right up my wiener.
How come when I see a cockroach, it's so much more horrifying than anything? Like if I saw a spider on the counter, I'd be like, oh,
well, I think it's generally because cockroaches, when they see you or not, they scurry, where
away.
Spiders don't really scurry as much.
And if they do, you have a problem.
If I see a cricket, I'm like, hey friend, let's hang out.
That is a good point. The crickets,
they get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Cricket's cool.
Crickets get a lot.
Maybe it's because crickets are much more common, especially in the Texas area, because they come out a lot more often, so you interact with them a lot more.
Fuck
and they
you,
jump
dude. I'm in
and
an
they're
old
nice.
house. I get the occasional cockroach, and it is
Versus cockroaches,
horrifying.
which are, but that's what I'm saying. They hide in places.
So
and
no, dude. So in my downstairs bathroom, we have a shower. Like, you know, it's a half bath, and we have the shower in there. And there one time, we don't use that shower downstairs very often, but we did once. And Robin screamed one day, and I went in there, and you could just see the end. So we have the tile going up the wall, right? And the tile stops about a foot from the top of the ceiling, and then it kind of goes over to the wall. But you could just see two cockroach antenna sticking out from behind the tile, and it was just moving.
So hold on.
Immediately calling pest control.
Let's take
pest control on a cockroach.
Let's take a step backwards. Yeah. Are we talking about cockroaches or water bugs?
Dude, fuck water bugs. I mean, either one are.
So the cockroaches are those tiny ones, like maybe half an inch long. The very dark, like 2-inch long. Those are water. Those aren't technically cockroaches. It's a different type, and they're like, I don't get those big water bugs around here. I get cockroaches, like the little ones. Like they're in my yard all the time.
When I lived in the apartment over off of whatever it was, but I lived right next to like a
big
little field, whatever. And during the rainy season, I opened up my pantry once, and there was a water bug in there on the wall. But I swear to God, it was probably like 3 inches long.
Yeah.
And then the antennas were like twice that. It was
when I lived
horrifying.
Next to Fiesta.
Horrifying.
When I was in college,
let's stop talking about this.
My downstairs neighbor was like disgusting, and his like apartment kept getting like cockroaches and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they were like coming into my apartment, and I was laying traps, doing all this stuff, and it didn't matter just because he had so many in his apartment, and I kept complaining to the front office, and they wouldn't do anything. And then one day I get up and I go to get ready for class, and I go to brush my teeth, and there was a cockroach on my toothbrush. And I went to the front office, and I was like, fuck you, this is ridiculous. Fix this problem right goddamn now.
Ugh, that's horrifying.
And I went to Fiesta and I bought a new toothbrush.
For those of you in chat who are asking what a water bug is, it's basically like an enormous cockroach.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's stop talking about it.
I like how we answer this question.
Let's move on. Villasaurus, how has your fashion sense changed over the years, if at all?
Hasn't.
Well, I used to
define
wear
fashion sense.
I dress more like a normal adult now.
Yeah, I definitely wear like button downs and button ups, and I'll wear like a sweater vest and like when I go to work and shit like that.
I like to wear collared shirts, button down shirts.
I do kind of like to dress up when I go to work sometimes. I always get my coworkers like, when's the interview?
I'll tell you one thing. The biggest, so like when Robin moved in with me, the biggest complaint was that I had too many
graphic tees.
Yes. Yeah. Immediately I was like, gotta find some non-graphic tees.
Here's my thing with graphic tees. Is I have found that over the past few years, I've started gravitating away from t-shirts and stuff that just have like kind of like this one. The only reason I have this one was because GameStop was selling it for like $3. And so I bought it. But I've started moving away from tees that are like very like an anime or like a cartoon that just like has a person on it. Yeah. I prefer the stuff that is of that universe. I don't know if you I don't know if y'all remember, I have a Persona 4 T-shirt it's just like the Midnight Channel and it shows like a TV. Like I like stuff like that. That's like a reference to something in that universe.
Yeah,
kind of
minimalistic.
Like you got me the Joja Cola or the not or like the Joja Mart Stardew Valley T-shirt. Yeah. You got it for me for Christmas a couple of years ago. Yes, you did.
Chris Davis has struggles remembering because he's got us so many Christmas gifts.
But yeah, I like that one. I like that shirt because
you
it's not. It doesn't say like
corporate
Stardew Valley, blah, blah, blah.
Why would you want to wear a Joja Mart shirt?
Because there's not a community center shirt.
Well, there should be.
I mean, there probably is, to be honest.
I used to wear a lot more band T-shirts. You know, don't do that quite as often as I used to. I still have a few left, but not a ton.
I've been buying like better socks lately. I can see these ones. They have little flamingos on them.
Okay, next question.
I have a baboon on mine.
I don't think any of us are super fashion conscious.
Well, go fuck yourself. Moving on.
Trendy.
You don't like my baboon
I don't think any
socks?
of them are. Any of us are very trendy. I guess.
Speak for yourself. That's fine. Zero Skies. I just got back from a trip to Munich. What's the most exotic place you've been, and what stood out the most to your sensibilities? What do you mean stood out the most to my sensibilities?
I wish I traveled. But I just
Wait, say that again? Hold on. Oh, sorry. I'll just read it. So
he says, what's the most exotic place you've been, and what stood out the most to your sensibilities?
The most exotic place I've been is Wayland, China. And what stood out to me the most is how I went to 4 major cities in China when I visited. And I was there for a month. And the entire time there, you know, we're having, you know, very traditional like Chinese food, which is different than Americanized food.
Oh, very
right?
much, yeah.
So the last stop on our trip was Wayland, China, which is very different than all the other places. It was very rural, like out in, you know, nature, far away from like urban centers and stuff like that.
And Nick was like, "Fuck nature."
And we went to
kill nature.
On one of these days we all went to you know, this village. It was literally like a village, right? And you know, they had rice fields everywhere, and you know, we were gonna go have lunch at this.
You got me racist, Nick.
No, I'm serious. It was like a very rural village with, you know, right on the edge of a bunch of rice fields, and we were gonna go to this place and we were gonna have lunch there, and we went to the very top. It was like this. It had this like.
Did they say "Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker"?
Yes, that's exactly how they greeted us. But we went. This is at the end of being there for a month, and we had none of us had.
That's a long ass time.
I know,
Nick.
and all the time we were there, we were having very traditional Chinese food, and we get to the top of this like village, and we go into this place, and it's essentially it's like a restaurant. I was like, this is not what I was expecting here. And then they proceed to bring us the most Americanized Chinese food, like I'm talking like General Tso's chicken and sesame chicken, like all these things that you would just order on the menu here. I was like, what is happening right now? And everybody was like, it's like they ordered it from Panda Express.
Was it a Panda Express?
Was it good?
Yes, it was delicious.
That's why they brought it to
Oh my god, it was. But like literally, I'm not even kidding. Like you walked out of that place and there were like ducks walking in front of in the street and stuff. It was like, you know, it was crazy. It was bizarre.
The most exotic place I've been was Greece. I don't really know Mykonos or Santorini, one of the two. But there was nothing really like culture shocky there or like stood out to my sensibilities, mainly because they were kind of like, I don't want to say touristy areas, but Greece's economy not doing too hot when I was there. So they're just all super nice to Americans, and you know, like the tourism
is money.
Yeah, is what's keeping them alive. So everyone was super friendly. I mean, I guess the most shocking thing was the fact that everyone spoke English.
Oh, that's strange.
I just anytime I think of like that kind of like experiences traveling, I always remember when I went to Italy and the fucking first restaurant we go to, and we sit down, and the fucking lady brings us Italian flag placemats, and I look around and not a single other person in the restaurant had them, and I was like, "Fuck you!" And I picked up our plates and I slid them across the table. I was like, "Don't give us this shit!"
Wow,
like fuck you.
That's hilarious.
I have no answer. I don't travel. Traveling requires lots of money, and I don't have that luxury. So,
moving on. Next question from Don Dolan. Which of these apocalypses do you think you would survive best in? Zombie, alien, ghost, you know, like the Final Fantasy movie, or clown?
Well, I think
Clown
Ghost.
apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't really know what he means by ghost. He says Final Fantasy movie. I'm assuming he means the original Final
Spirits
Fantasy.
Within.
Yeah, but I don't really
Spirits Within.
remember.
I don't remember that being very.
The spirits within, you're fucked. It doesn't matter.
Why. I don't remember.
Because all the ghosts are invisible and they instantly kill you as soon as they touch you.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
why
no,
do they do that?
And there's like billions of them.
because Final Fantasy.
I don't remember that movie.
Well,
at
in
all.
that
That
case-
movie's not very Final Fantasy.
No, it's not.
Guys, what is a clown apocalypse? That's what I want to know.
It's like Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Yeah.
except it's like
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like The Walking Dead, but it was like clowns?
That'd be horrifying.
Can you imagine like you know how they all live in like these settlements, whatever, and they're always like on the lookout for zombies. But like, what if you're like, they're like looking out at night, like keeping guard, and like you just see clowns coming out of the woods, man.
You just hear like,
It's
like, oh god, they're approaching.
oh fuck everything about that.
And the thing is,
They're like riding unicycles and shit.
just like the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the only way to kill them is to pop their nose.
Is that really how that movie works?
I believe that's the way it works.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I've been watching a lot of Walking Dead lately. How have they never put a zombie clown in that show? I don't remember ever seeing a zombie clown.
Honestly, I think zombies would be the easiest one to survive. Alien, obviously, they probably have some sort of technology or whatever. Obviously, there's probably more of them out there. Ghost, obviously, that's fucking, you can't do anything. Clown is kind of similar to like zombie.
As long as you can avoid large groups of zombies, you're probably
my
good.
thing with like a zombie apocalypse is eventually it has to end.
Yeah, because you eventually run out of people.
Yeah, you either run out of people or you run out of zombies, or the number of people greatly outnumber the zombies to the point where they become irrelevant.
The clown apocalypse never ends. They just keep coming out of the car.
Well, here's the thing.
See now, so I don't know if y'all read World War Z.
No.
I read. Sorry, that's a lie. I read the first like 5 chapters.
I watched the movie.
So part of the story is that as one of the strategies for holding off the undead, they would have like miniature like bases or cities that are spread around the country to attract and contain the dead from spreading further west in the U.S. And I'm like, the answer to that for the clown apocalypse is like, what if you had just like little bitty towns where there was constantly like children's birthday parties?
Oh God,
that's how you keep the.
Why
clowns
would you
contained.
lure them to children's birthday parties?
These are
Because it keeps them contained and they don't spread further west.
and they eat the children.
No,
Wait, clowns don't eat people.
circus tents. You put up circus
Wait,
tents.
It's a clown apocalypse.
Is this a clown apocalypse where they just are? There's just a bunch of clowns everywhere.
No,
That's it.
I think that's the assumption,
No,
yes.
they terrify you to death.
That's it. You just get scared.
Yeah, because they're clowns.
But so no one dies. Everyone's just kind of frightened a little.
If you get touched by a clown, you become a clown.
okay, so that's
Okay,
different.
well, they get turned into cotton candy, I guess.
Who do the clowns or people?
The people.
There was a short
In Killer
horror
Clowns from Outer
film.
Space, they turned them into cotton candy.
Okay.
There was a short horror film that came out like 8 or 9 years ago in which it was all about a guy turning into an evil clown.
Dude, I saw that one. He put on like this outfit and it wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gradually turned into an evil clown.
All right, let's move on.
That sounds dope.
It's
Next
pretty
question
good.
from Fuzzy Turd.
Pretty low budget.
The world has been overrun with The Walking Dead style zombies. Okay, another.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
You guys miraculously escape Austin. Y'all, including Chris Davis, and your respective partners
Thank you.
and children, if applicable,
That's a lot of people.
are your survivor group. You are allowed one other person to be in your group. They can be fictional. However, their abilities or whatever must be reasonably realistic. What roles, leader, tactician, etc., do you assign each other? Who dies first? Also, where do you head once you escape Austin, and why? This is a very elaborate question.
Wait,
Fuzzy
so
Turd.
we allowed to like have one other person in our group of
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves. Keep him safe. Also, I'm assuming he knows how to do all that shit in John Wick, so that's probably a good thing to have. I'm assuming.
I mean, he goes through all that training.
I know. I'm assuming he retains these abilities. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Keanu Reeves. Where would I go as soon as I left Austin, though? Like, you would want to avoid urban centers, right? You would
Yeah.
you would want to go out to like something. Go out to the hill country, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Austin's honestly not a bad place to be.
Because Austin's very spread out. As long as you avoid downtown Austin, you're probably good.
Like, you want to focus on areas with natural barriers, like rivers and things like that. Like prisons, things with actual.
We do have
walls
prisons
and
around
stuff.
here.
Do we?
Not
Huntsville?
immediate. Huntsville's the closest one,
Yeah.
but I'm saying Texas has plenty.
Yeah, but
You don't want to be in a
they're
prison.
they're currently occupied
Occupado.
by people who I'd rather not associate with.
You mean people with had marijuana on them? You don't want to associate?
I guess
Judging. Wow.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, short answer, I would probably head out towards the hill country, find some kind of
There's got to be
well-to-do house.
That's what I would say. Like, you know, there's a lot of farmland in Texas, and obviously that's kind of what you need in a zombie apocalypse because they're gonna run out of like Twinkies and like fried chicken at Popeyes. So I mean, you got to have some sort of food source and
true.
water source.
You wouldn't want to get too far away from some. That's tough.
Find a cruise ship.
Once again, they're gonna run out of food, Chris Davis.
Yeah. Well,
the buffet is only unlimited on the cruise ship because the cruise is a week.
Yeah.
When you're out on a cruise ship for 3 months, all of a sudden everyone's starving.
Take a cruise ship to an island.
And go on?
And live on the fucking island.
With what?
Coconuts.
Yeah.
Nothing but coconuts.
Did you bring thousands of seeds to plant and like, I mean, it's one of those things
that's assumed.
All right, this is a tough question, Fuzzy Story. Let's move on to our final question for Patreon from Soup Nazi. Sorry, Nazi. What video game best describes your significant other?
I'm guessing we're just gonna go with like what they like, or are we saying like what describes them as a person?
The game that best.
I'm gonna say Owen Dunn.
What game do you associate with your
Owen Dunn,
significant
right?
other?
That's the dance. That's the rhythm dancing game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Owen Dunn. Because Bernadette likes to sing and dance.
Not trauma center.
Good one.
She's not an ER doctor.
No.
If I was gonna
She's a different kind of doctor, Chris Davis. Is there a pharmacy game out there?
There's gotta be.
I don't think so.
Well, there's 2
gotta
Points
be.
Hospital or Theme Hospital.
Scarecrow says The Mummy Demastered. Is that an actual video game?
Yes.
Because by the way, I watched The Mummy Returns this week.
The Mummy Demastered is it came out alongside the Tom Cruise film.
Yeah,
it's like an 8-bit
Oh,
throwback.
right.
Developed by Waveform.
And it's supposedly pretty good.
I heard about that. That's right. If we're going based on if we base it on like what they play the most.
That's not the question.
That's not the question.
What? I don't understand how to answer the question.
Nolan's answer was good.
Thank you.
Be inspired by his.
This is too stressful. It's too stressful.
I'm just trying to think of a good one. I mean, it's a tough question.
Maybe we should think about it and
Dr.
return to it.
Mario? I don't know.
That's a good one though.
I'm gonna keep thinking on. We got to move on because the show is
We're over 3 hours.
we're approaching our
All right,
our
next
max time
question
here.
from our supporters on Twitch. Who is this? I hate
We're
the
over 3 hours.
Fucking people. Okay, it's Chai.
He thought it was a short show.
Is there a particular common thing in music that can make a song unbearable to you? For example, counting. I can't stand counting in songs, like 1, 2, 3, 4 by Plain White T's or Back to 1 by Brian McKnight. I also hate overly repetitive lyric hooks, like Imagine Dragons in literally every single they've ever put out.
I appreciate the beginning of the Heretic Anthem. It's counting backwards. That's
Particular thing in music that you don't like, unbearable.
he had mentioned something, and I totally agree with him. This was a discussion we had in Discord last week, but
I got an answer.
tagging the beginning or end of a song with a like super long intro or outro that would normally just be reserved for like an actual track on the album that is like a break, you know what I mean, like
an
a
LP.
segue, but actually putting it in the song. So like when you actually go to listen to a song, you have to wait through like 30 to 45 seconds, or at the end it like goes on for another 30 seconds when it's done. Oh my god,
I got an answer.
drives me crazy.
What's up, Brad?
Saxophone. I hate the saxophone.
Why?
You hate saxophone.
I just hate the sax. I hate the sound of the sax.
That's strange.
That's my answer.
All right, there we go.
So you don't like any jazz whatsoever?
He must hate jazz.
Hate the saxophone.
You don't like Careless Whisper?
And I hate that it's associated with like the cool instrument. You know what I mean? I hate
It's
that.
the cool woodwind.
Have you seen a bassoon?
Yes.
So by association, Brad, you hate Cowboy Bebop.
No.
He's just a hypocrite. That's all.
It's not right.
All right.
My only thing I can think of, because I'm having trouble thinking of anything off the top of my head, is any music. Obviously, it's going to lean more towards like hip hop or rap, but anything that has fucking police sirens in it. Like, go fuck yourself if you put police sirens
Yeah,
in your music.
Or really sirens in general.
Well, yeah, just sirens. Just because anytime I'm listening, but the thing is, like, that's not even just music. I've been listening to some podcasts lately, and like they'll have like a random siren, and I'm like, don't fucking do that.
I can think of a song with a siren that I love.
I'm fucking driving around, and all of a sudden I hear a siren, and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta like turn down the music because there's nope, it's just in the fucking song.
All right. Is that our last question?
Yeah.
I hate when the song has like too long of a pause.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if the song's over. Well, you know it's not, but other people don't know it's over. So when you go to like a live show, not everyone knows that the song's still happening.
So they start clapping and shit.
Yeah, has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, all the time.
It's weird.
All right, I want to real quick. So, of course, we always do our supporter spotlight.
No,
I
never. I'm sorry, I'm doing a horrible job today.
Hold
on. That was questions.
Thank you, Nolan. Thank you for doing this. Supporter spotlight. Of course, every week we pick. Well, first of all, we invite our supporters on Patreon and Twitch to fill out a short gaming-related survey where you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your taste in games and that kind of stuff. We ask you some general questions, and then we pick one at random, and we read some of your responses every episode. This week, our supporter spotlight is Joshua B., also known as WhiteFang48. All right, I'm gonna do his top 5 games of all time, followed by his 4-player minute, which will segue nicely into our 4-player minute. His top 5 games of all time. Number 5, the Project Diva series.
Okay, yeah.
I am a massive fan of music rhythm games, and I've been playing these games since the PSP. I'd be lying if it wasn't on this list. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
That's the Project Diva series. Number 4, Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. I have restarted this game over 20 times and had this game down to a science. If you love Stardew Valley, you must give this classic a try.
I could have sworn that they're working on a remake or they recently released a remake of that.
I think I remember seeing something about that myself. Number 3, he's pulling a Brad here, the Metroid series. I know I'm cheating, but as Samus being my favorite female protagonist, I have to choose Metroid. Each have their own style with amazing mechanics. I love the Prime series, only reason I turn on my Wii U. I think I challenge you, White Fang, to pick your favorite. I'm just out of curiosity. Pick your favorite. If you could only put one game from that series on your top 10 games of all time, what would it be?
Probably Echoes.
Dark Echoes? Metroid Prime 2?
Yeah.
Maybe. Number 2. Oh my god. He's cheating so bad.
Motherfucker.
This is like worse than I think I've ever seen Brad do it.
Kill him.
What are you talking
Number
about?
2. Silent Hill / Fatal Frame / Resident Evil.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Ban him.
I allow one slash.
Ban him.
Boo!
He says, cheating again, but these games define my childhood. Being a horror fan, these 3 series define the genre.
And my number 1 favorite is video games. I just love them so much.
It's the PlayStation 2, Brad.
Oh,
All of the games on the PlayStation 2.
My number 1 favorite video game is movies.
Number 1, Fire Emblem GBA.
Again, that's 2 to 3. I mean, who knows?
Is
which
that
ones he's
cheating
played.
too?
Yes, that's cheating.
Fuck, he says my first and favorite strategy RPG.
Well, he could just mean Fire Emblem 7 or whatever you call it, Binding Blade or whatever it's called.
My first and favorite strategy RPG. This game got me into the genre. If you haven't played it, you must. I also miss miss magic triangles in these games.
the weapon triangle, I think, is what he's referring to.
All right. Well, thank you, you cheating bastard. All right. White Fang's 4-player minute, which of course is our hype, sweat, thank you, and fuck you. I'll read his, and it'll segue nicely into ours.
And my hype is all the games coming out next month.
Hype, Breath of the Wild 2. Must I say more?
And Wind Waker.
Not necessary. That one's that's a ways off though. Yeah. His sweat, new improvements and interesting gameplay in Tales of Arise with a question mark at the end. I'm guessing he's questioning whether that game's going to have valuable improvements and interesting gameplay. His thank you goes to all of us for our passion and keeping everyone in the community entertained. You're very welcome.
Boo!
Boo this man! You're very welcome. And his fuck you of the week goes to Bethesda, Activision, and EA.
So even in his 4-player minute, he's
Is
cheating.
it for China?
Are they all?
And the
it
NBA.
says 3 guesses why. It says Bethesda Activate. Are all 3 of them related to?
No.
Well, they're definitely all in.
I know
China's pocket.
Activision Blizzard. I don't know Bethesda and EA particularly having any ties to China. I don't think he's referring to the China thing.
Okay.
But fuck them.
Sure.
He doesn't specify why. You should follow up with that and tell us why.
Big
All right.
third-party publishers.
Thank you, of course, White Fang, for your support on Patreon and or Twitch. We really appreciate it. Again, if you're interested in supporting us on either one of those, patreon.com/4player. You can go to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, and subscribe. Either way, we really appreciate it. And all new patrons go towards reaching our next goal, which, of course, like I mentioned earlier, is our next themed month on Twitch. Brad, 4-player minute. Go.
All right.
Record time.
My hype is Star Wars Fallen Jedi. What's it called?
Star Wars
Jedi Fallen Order.
When does that come out?
Previews have
November 15th.
have been kind of exciting. Hearing Souls-like meets Metroidvania.
Really?
It's exciting. My sweat is going to be Luigi's Mansion. I've never played a Luigi's Mansion, mostly because I've never had too much interest in playing a Luigi's Mansion, and I'm not entirely sure the interest is here for this one. But maybe we'll see. My fuck you is going to go to me for leaving my Switch at work before my weekend gap here in the middle of the week. And yeah, because there's like a whole bunch of Switch games I'm going to be playing, including a new game I just got and I was going to talk about tonight, but I left my Switch, so fuck. My thank you goes to Wendy. Wendy?
Windingo?
From Wendy's?
No, Wendy, or Wind, as he likes to be known. For you could tell that he'd rather be playing like Final Fantasy 14, but he's been sticking out. He's been he's been saving his 20-minute Rajang, investigations that we can't possibly do. But Wind and Nico and Wind's girlfriend, who we all teamed up and we kicked some ass last night. That was pretty cool. Also, he doesn't want to be called Windlefer. He hates Windlefer, so he just wants to go by Wind.
Why don't you make that your chat name?
Or
Windlefer?
Windy.
But Wendy's Windingo.
I feel like Brad's trolling him.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm being completely
But
honest.
you're being sincere. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brad.
The wind is taken.
Nolan.
You could have been Wind 1. All right, my 4-player match session there. It kind of trailed off, so I just went with it.
What was that?
My hype is for more Indivisible. I really kind of enjoyed my last couple of play sessions with it, so I'm kind of excited to play a little bit more. Those combos and stuff in combat have started to groove and stuff. My second hype is actually for Luigi's Mansion. I have played Luigi's Mansion games in the past, and I'm pretty excited for this one. I love any opportunity to play my Switch. My sweat goes to Outer Worlds. I really wanted this game to get bad reviews so I wouldn't be tempted to play it.
Oh, man. You guys. You're the ones who are supposed to be playing this, telling me how dope it is, so I fucking play it.
We can't do it all the time.
Yeah, mainly because going into my third sweat, I've been doing a lot more stuff work outside of work. Like I'm been doing a lot more coding and stuff in my free time, which means I've been having less gaming time. And while I really do enjoy doing that, and I kind of get into these grooves where I'll just like code for like 6 hours or some shit like that at one random evening, it means I play less games, and it makes me sad. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Chris Davis.
Okay. My hype this week, I'm going to put to Desperados 3.
When does that come out?
I think
Supposedly December is what they plan on doing. And now that Doom Eternal's been pushed, I think they'll actually make December. Because they were really hesitant
got to
about
seize
releases
that
and all
opportunity.
Dude, I saw a stream the other day that was going on Twitch of a guy who was playing Shadow Tactics, and I was like, "Oh, I could
Gave
play
you
that
the
again."
itch.
It gave me the itch, man.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about Desperados and how much fun I had at E3, and I'm like, I need this in my life
All right.
soon.
I want to hear from you because I'm considering that one this year.
It's so cool. My sweat is for Shenmue 3. That comes out just about a month from now.
Oh my god,
And I actually spent money on that Kickstarter. And
that game's gonna be a disaster.
And I'm really worried about it. I haven't seen a damn thing of it, but like, I'm just not enthused.
People liked the demo.
They did?
Yeah, there was some positive.
There's some positivity
buzz,
from Shenmue fans.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little annoyed that I would have to pay $100 to get a fucking demo for the game.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's criminal, even. Criminal, I say.
My other sweat goes to not having any cash to spend right now. Because I decided that I want to play Control. I would really like to play it, but I don't.
Would you like to borrow my PS4 version?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do you have a Pro?
I do have a Pro, yeah.
Then you're probably fine.
Did they patch it with the
I haven't personally tested it.
Better
on
yet,
PS4, but I've heard the patch helps a lot.
Better yet, can I borrow your Epic Game Store login?
I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
I think it is how it works, right?
And my fuck you of the week, obviously, fuck you, Activision. Just fuck you for everything you do. You got praised last week because you're not including like fucking loot boxes and shit in your next Call of Duty.
That's great.
You got praised for that, and now you're making up for it. Like we're doing a battle pass. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you and all your bullshit.
Not surprising. Not surprising.
Give consideration to your fucking customers for once.
Time to play that campaign and never look back.
Exactly.
All right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype, I'm sure you've guessed it. I've been talking about it a lot. I am so excited to play Red Dead Redemption 2 again. So ready. I even bought it on PC. But you know what? Even if the PC port turns out to be a disaster...
It won't.
I know it won't. Even if it does, though. Or even if my PC, for whatever stupid-ass random reason, decides it can't play it, I'm going to play the game on PS4 again. But... I'm waiting.
Why would you do that?
I'm waiting until the PC... I mean, I already pre-ordered the PC version. If the PC version won't run for whatever reason, I have 14 days to get a refund, and I'll just play it on PS4. But either way, I just want to play the fucking game again. I'm so fucking excited. I'm going to go for a completionist run this time. It's going to be awesome. My sweat goes to... I'm going to just say Star Wars Episode 9. I mean, it's just because, you know...
I haven't watched the trailer.
It's a good trailer. It's just it's just the final chapter of a Star Wars trilogy. You know, the last one was divisive. J.J. Abrams is not necessarily known for being the best at writing endings. I don't know.
I was not worried till Palpatine.
I mean, I don't... Dude,
Spoilers.
It's Star Wars, man. It looks great. I just hope it delivers something that is satisfying. My thank you this week goes to Carlos for sending me his Call of Duty World War II code. I finally got to play that campaign. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice distraction. And my fuck you goes to me for whatever this particular weird gaming mode I'm in right now, where all I want to do apparently is play old stuff. Or maybe it's just fuck me for not really being as into a lot of these games that came out in 2019. It's been kind of a rough year for me. I mean, I've played a lot of stuff that I've enjoyed, but 2018 was fucking insane.
It was a good year.
2019 is like nowhere even close to the beauty and magnificence of 2018. But I'm still playing a lot of stuff and enjoying it. It's just not quite up there for me. So, fuck me for just not feeling the magic. And that's our show. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching us live, don't forget, for the foreseeable future through early December, we'll be doing the shows on Tuesday nights, as we are right now. And if you want to join us in between the shows, discord.gg/4player is the place to be. It's free. It's the best way to stick in touch with us and the community. We're in there all the time talking about games, movies, feats, whatever it may be. And of course, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/4player or subscribe to our Twitch channel. And stay tuned. We will make an official announcement soon as we've decided amongst ourselves how our Project M is going to play out, because we're going to hopefully get the ball rolling and get that done in December. It should be a lot of fun. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. We will catch you guys next week. Good night.
Bye.